It's time for Thursday night football. Tonight, West Coast up against the Bombers. The first elimination final as the finals begin at Optus Stadium, and the winner goes on to play the loser of Geelong and Collingwood. So a lot to look forward to tonight. And of course over this weekend, and Lockie Reid is back in place.
Ready, Den.
You've been doing your stuff.
Yeah.
That other job.
A little bit of makeup and does a lot of work and makes me look okay, Den. Okay.
Well, big night tonight, eh?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I mean, I think it summed it up in that opener. The West Coast Eagles had all before them with the last game of the home and away season, and they lost to Hawthorn. Hawthorn was superb, and they lost the chance for the double chance. So now it's an elimination final. They get the home ground advantage, and the Bombers with nothing to lose.
Well, interesting if we go back to round 14, Embers, because the West Coast Eagles that night kicked 14-22. They won by 35 points. Essendon 11-5, but it certainly flattered Essendon, that result, didn't it?
Well, I thought what West Coast did really well that night. Mark Hutchins' role and Adam Saab was really good.
Yep.
Nullified his influence on the game. West Coast were really concerned with his run of half-back, and they were able to shut down Tip and Woody as well. So Adam Simpson put a lot of time into those two players in particular, and they got the result done. Now, Essendon will be prepared for that. Mark Hutchins back into the side tonight. Just watching him warm up at the moment. He is warming up with the mids, but we do expect that he'll go to Adam Sard. I think that's going to be a really important matchup for the West Coast Eagles.
Well, comparing that team in round 14 to the one the Bombers have got in tonight, Lee, I think this team is infinitely better.
Absolutely, Dennis. And even some of the players that played in that night, McDonald, Tip and Woody only had 6 disposals and 1 goal. Fantasia was clearly playing really sore at that stage. He only had 6 disposals. We know Sard was well held. So I certainly think this Essendon side has got plenty of upside from that game earlier in the year. They've had the bye, they've had the freshen up. It looks a much better team on paper with their tall forwards, the smalls, and of course Hooker and Hurley back in defence. So it should be a much more competitive Essendon side tonight.
Dare I say it feels a little bit like 2016 when we had a break. The West Coast Eagles was in elimination final. They were red hot favourites, Embers. They were never going to lose to the Western Bulldogs. And the Doggies had timed their run beautifully. They got all their players ready to go. And like the Bombers, they brought back a whole heap of fresh runners, and they caused the big upset in the finals.
And if you can remember, the Dogs came in round 23 to play Fremantle, got smashed by Fremantle, went back to Melbourne, had the week off, and then went and came and ambushed the West Coast Eagles. This would be one of John Worsfold and Essendon's great wins. We know they haven't won a final since 2004. For mine, though, I think the week off came at a really important time for the West Coast Eagles. They had that really tough contest at the MCG against Richmond. They were flat the week after. Let's take nothing away from what Hawthorn did, though. I thought their pressure, their ability to be able to shut down space was outstanding. They really took the game away from the West Coast Eagles, but the Eagles didn't run that game out well. So a week off to freshen up. Let's talk about Nick Natanui as well, how important he's going to be. In the 3 games that he's played this year, West Coast are plus 39 in clearances. He just changes the whole dynamics through that midfield group, doesn't he, Joey?
Yeah, absolutely he does. We know how important he's going to be. And Bell Chambers is up for a big effort tonight if he's going to stop the big man.
For Coates Hire, this is the Triple M footy preview. Coates Hire, call 13 15 52 and let's make it happen. And of course, you can follow this game, hashtag AFL Finals. It's the West Coast Eagles up against Essendon. The players are making their way over for the national anthem and the on-ground formalities. And we'll get that to you in just a moment. Big game. It's very excited. Nick Nat very quickly. He inspires his teammates, doesn't he?
Well, he does, and he doesn't get a whole lot of disposals. You expect him to play with 50 to 60% of game time tonight, but there's no doubt through the midfield, West Coast is so more proactive around there. Shuey will get on the fly. They know that more likely than not he's going to get his hands on the football. So from an Essendon perspective, Bell Chambers just got to nullify the quality of clearances that West Coast win when they do win them.
You're talking about that Tigers game, but a couple of the defenders for the West Coast Eagles have had a bit of time to stew about their performances in that game. Too much time, I'd suggest. Tough for them tonight. They need to perform.
Yeah, Barris wasn't good the last couple of weeks, dealing with a hand injury at the moment. It's got to put that behind him. McGovern hasn't been at his best. No doubt Will Schofield makes West Coast Eagles' defence a lot better tonight.
It's an elimination final at Optus Stadium. John Worsfold against his old team. Let's head downstairs.
Welcome you to the first elimination final. The AFL acknowledges the Noongar people, the traditional owners of the land we gather on today, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. We acknowledge we play our great game on this land and respect the cultures of all First Peoples, their contribution to our nation and contribution to the game of Australian rules football. would you now please join with the coaches, players and umpires as we stand for the Australian National Anthem.
No better feeling than a roar of finals footy, and we're about to embark on the first week of finals here at Optus Stadium. Let's head downstairs with thanks to Bob Jane T-Marts. Bob Jane T-Marts has a month of big deals on big brands such as Bridgestone, Hankook and BF Goodrich tyres. Tan, take it away. Give us an update.
Well, there might be an upset.
Yeah,
we'll wait and see. A lot of Eagles fans hoping there isn't one, but yeah, that really that gave me goosebumps. The hairs on the back of the neck stand up with that one. I don't think we've had a toss of the coin yet, so keeping an eye on that one. It's quite a chilly 16 degrees. It's going to get down to 9 degrees by the end of the match. No rain around. The surface looks pretty good. There's a light breeze, but it won't have any effect on the game. Just going to the left-hand side of the dial. The big news is Nick Nat will start on the ground for the first bounce, so wait for the roar when that happens. On the bench for the Eagles, Schofield, Sheed, Waterman and Hickey, and for Essendon, Parrish, Francis, Langford and Ham.
Good on you, Tan. So Nick Nat starting, gents. A bit of a ploy to inspire his teammates early on.
Oh, absolutely, get him involved early, first bounce. But I'm really fascinated to see Essendon's midfield. They've dropped Clark, their tagger. My understanding is they're not going to tag Essendon. They're going to take the West Coast Eagles midfield on, but they're going to try and do it with speed, with their outside run, McGrath, Shield, Merritt, Parrish, etc. And they're really going to try and get numbers through there and just take on this West Coast Eagles side. So watch Essendon tonight. They're going to play with a team that's got nothing to lose, Embers. They're just going to take the game on. They're going to play risk-free footy and take big risks in this game and see if it pays off.
We know what the Bombers like to do. They run and gun. For me, the key to the Bombers' victory tonight, though, is their ability to be able to find a way to put pressure on and win the footy back off West Coast. That's what they need to do. They need to cut the angles down. They need to push up on the mark really quickly. If they force West Coast down the line, they need to be able to get that ball to ground. I think that becomes an advantage. If this game can be on the ground tonight, we know with the speed of Essendon, that's when they can win the footy back and have the mindset to attack and attack quickly.
It's going to be a game of two styles. Embers are spot on. Essendon want a live ball. They want it hectic. They want it helter-skelter. We know how West Coast want to play. They want to control the game, control the tempo. It's going to be really fascinating, particularly in this first quarter, to see who gets their style of game going. And to leave you with one stat, Dennis, and I know you like your stats. In the last three final series, the team that leads at quarter time, 26 times, the team that's led at quarter time have gone on to win 22 out of 26. So when you talk about fast starts in finals, that is why. The stats back it up. You get into your game, you get into your groove, so the first quarter is going to be crucial.
That's why he came over. That's why he came over.
That long flight, that 4 hours over. And
that's all he's got.
I've used it all up. That's my best.
Besides last year's grand final was pretty spot on, Lee.
Exactly. The last two grand finals. They've been 2 of the 4 times. Yep.
Well, it's important to start strong for Joey, see?
Exactly.
As he said, he's demonstrating.
Essendon won the toss, and they'll kick to the left of the dial to get us underway for finals footy. The best in the business, Dennis Cometti.
Well, here we go. Nick Natanui. First game back since round 17 against Collingwood. Opening bounce of the final series. Up against Bill Chambers. Natanui wins the first tap. Greeted by a big roar. Shield goes after the football. Natanui hit him hard as he kicked a high ball across half back. It comes off hands. McGrath under the pump, knocked away by Yeo. Natanui puts himself in again. Slaps the ball out to Cripps. Over the top to Ryan. Run down too high. No play on's the call. Wow. Umpire couldn't have seen that, surely.
Umpire said he ducked, so he called play on.
Did he really? Okay, well, it's a free kick and it's going to Hurley down there. Not sure he ducked. He took the ball and was headed towards goal. Hurley, troubled by shoulder injuries this season. Tough to be playing tonight, certainly. Kicks it up towards the wing. Not a good kick, though. In front of the pack. Redden grabs it. Kicks inside the forward 50 off hands. Hutchings a hand pass to no one in particular. Hurley under pressure. Hand passes back. Dashing across the goal square there is Sard. Slips a hand pass away. And out of the back pocket the ball goes towards the outer side. And the mark has been taken out there by Ambrose.
Good early touch from Adam Sard. He does have the match up with Mark Hutchings going really close to him.
High ball down towards half forward. Bill Chambers in front. McGovern. Strong body. Took Bill Chambers under the ball, reached back and marked it.
Minute and a half gone in this first quarter. No score on the board. McGovern has it left half back. He'll chip it towards the wing. In fact, it's not a great kick. Jumping in the way and taking the mark is Redmond, one of the youngsters for the Bombers. He'll quickly play on to Heppel. Still at right half back. Wanted to lob the hand pass over. Ryan was creeping off the mark, so Heppel decides to kick long to right half forward. Now Brown has it a long way from goal. He just kicks it high to the top of the 50. Packle for McKernan there. Couldn't take the mark. Roving it nicely. Gaff has to go back by hand to Marston, and then Marston chips it to the right back pocket. Shepherd takes it. Can kick it over the top to a running Gaff again. It wasn't on, said the Shep. Now told to play on. He'll have to kick it down the line. Hurley's there. Best position to try and take the mark. He'll get the free kick. Little bit of blocking. Heppel will play on though. Gives it to his teammate in McGrath. Good start for the Bombers. McGrath will nail it. From 48 metres, a beautiful start to the visitors. 1 straight 6. West Coast yet to score. 2.5 gone in the first term.
Well, that's always what you need to do when you're playing away from home, particularly in a final. Get on the board early, silence the crowd, get a little bit of confidence in your system and your style. And it's a nice start by the Bombers because, as we said, the first quarters are so important. And for them just to steady into the game and get into the groove.
And what they did really well there, Essendon, is they cut off the switch. They forced Brad Shepherd to kick long down the line. No West Coast Eagles tour there. Redden gave away a silly free kick, and from that they were able to go forward. Great finish by McGrath.
Great start by Essendon then. Very good start last week against Collingwood. 2-6 goals in the opening term. They led Collingwood by 19 points at quarter time. In finals, fast starts are very good. Very important. Bounce in the centre. Nat Nui, can he do it again? Bill Chambers collided with him deliberately, but it bounced obligingly for Nat Nui, who kicks it out towards right half forward. Pitches just inside the forward 50. Chance for Cripps, slung as he kicked it. Bounces down towards the pocket. Thumping it away down there was Hooker. Ball comes out towards the 50. Huey has got it. Kicks it up towards Kennedy. And Kennedy has marked 15 metres out. Hooker wasn't quick enough to get back to cover him. He had the ball in the back pocket. He kicked it out. It wasn't a good kick. It rebounded too quickly, and Kennedy, in best position, has been able to mark over the fullback.
Just seeing Nick Natanui there. Didn't win the tap, but just his follow-up to be able to win a clearance and go inside forward 50.
Kennedy. Big roar. He needs to find form. And that's a great start for him. Scores a level, a goal apiece.
And that's the matchup that's changed from round 14. We know Josh Kennedy had an awesome game that night. He could have really had a big day, kicked 3 goals, 5, and that was on Michael Hurley. We know about Hurley's shoulder injury, so they've gone with Cale Hooker, who prefers to play as that roll-off intercept mark. He's going to have to really lock down on Josh Kennedy tonight, so that's going to be a really fascinating matchup as they go down to the goal square.
No doubt Essendon concerned about the Hurley matchup because, as you mentioned, Hooker to Kennedy, Ambrose to Jack Darling. And at the moment, Hurley's just playing as that third tall.
He's playing all on his own at the moment, isn't he? Although Jake Waterman walking towards him. So we're back in the middle. We're all tied up, nearly 5 minutes gone. Bounce to the footy again. Bill Chambers, Nat Nui. Nat Nui, another tap through the hands, though, of Redden. Trying to shark it was Parrish. Yo goes in to try and feed the ball out. He's dragged out. Here's Nat Nui again amongst the action early in the game. Good to see for him. Going without it was Yo. Bill Chambers picks it up, kicks it out towards the wing. So the Bombers will get away here. Little hand pass is a nice one to Langford, and then Langford just bombs it to the top of the 50. The fist had to come from Barris through the hands of several players. McDonald, Tip and Woody chasing after it. A high tackle laid by Heppel, though, and the Eagles will get the free kick. Left half back.
Did well there, Redden. Had to keep his eyes on the football. Had to be clean below his knees. Deserved to get the free kick.
He'll chip it out wide. This is the possession game for the West Coast Eagles. Lewis Jetta has it, left half back.
Low trajectory kick up towards the wing. Couple of Eagles there. Lucky to get it, but it goes forward. Sheed kicks it down inside the forward 50. Loose ball at the back of the pack, close to the boundary line. It stays in, at least initially. Now, there's a high tackle, and I think it's on Cripps. Haven't got the best view of Cripps at the moment. He's upside down. It is Cripps. Strange I should recognise him by that. He's deep in the pocket.
You've been around a long time, Dan.
Yeah, well.
Not sure about the free kick, though. I reckon he was a bit stiff there.
Francis on the mark then. Cripps is back virtually against the fence, comes around on that arc and hooks it across his body, but the hook is too early and he misses near side. Good enough for the lead, though. The Eagles are 1-1-7. And Essendon a one straight goal. That's on the Triple MIGA Liquor scoreboard.
The kick out's a long one to the far side of the ground. The contest 1-1, and it's marked by Yo. Terrific body work by Yo. He drives it back inside, attacking 50. Kennedy from behind, trying to steal it from his teammate Waterman, though. Hand passed it straight to the Bombers. Francis gets it and kicks it out wide. Jumping up, trying to take the grab was Laverty. He can't hold on to it. And then over the top of Laverty is a West Coast Eagles player. And it's McGovern who will get the free kick. Too far out to score, a good 70 metres away. It's a 1 point lead for West Coast. He's told to play on. He'll kick it towards the goal square. The Bombers with plenty of numbers. And Bell Chambers has taken a terrific mark. A little bit of shepherding off the footy, but they'll get out of trouble. Although Bell Chambers went for Heppel. He's missed him completely. The ball's rolled over the line and out of bounds. Lucky not to go out of bounds on the full. 10 metres around from West Coast goal. Will throw it back into play. They lead at the home team by 1.
Like a cut behind square leg. That one just bounced inside the field of play. Remarkable, really. Throw an end. Bell Chambers taps it down. Langford grabs it. Hurried kick around the outer side wing, and a good mark is taken by Hearn, the All-Australian. Still not captain. Ball goes inside the forward 50. Big pack at the drop. Kennedy in that pack almost spilt it. Knocked out of there towards goal. Dangerous situation for Essendon. Parrish grabs it and kicks it out towards left half back and Ham. Promising youngster. High draft pick, not high in the right sense. He was up in the 70s. But here he is playing in a final, first season. Kicks it up towards the wing. Laverde goes up. Strong grab. Jetta, too small in that contest. Laverde kicks to space. Honours the lead from McKernan. But he didn't get it far enough. McGovern loves that situation to read the play. He was free, came across, took the mark in front of the leading target. He goes back to Gaff. On the defensive 50, Gaff in two minds. Thinks about Shepherd on the far side. Ignores it eventually. Sends a high ball up towards the wing. Oh, too easy. Well, it should have been for Hurley in front. He goes back after the football. Meantime, taken by McKenna, though his teammate got a hand pass across to Laverty. Then Ham gave it across towards Parrish. Coming through his shield. His kick was smothered. Back comes Parrish. Gives it across to Ambrose. Hand passes to Francis. Kicks inside the forward 50. Awkward bouncing football here. Fantasia. Brilliant down to Snelling. Snelling runs into an open goal and gets it for the Bombers. Well played. They lead now by 5 points.
Just roll the dice through the middle of the ground there, the West Coast Eagles, and once the Bombers won the footy, we know what they're going to do. They're going to run, they're going to take it on. A really important kick inside forward 50. They got a contest. And they were able to get the matchup that they wanted inside forward 50 there. They're trying to put some pressure on McGovern and Hearn at the moment. Ball got out the back. It's been a really fast start to this game. Good goal, Bombers.
Thoughts of Andrew Embley for Seabus Super. Seabus Super offering members insurance cover that protects building and construction workers. Lee Montagna here as well, looking after the game this evening here in the West. 2 straight 12, the Bombers. They lead the West Coast Eagles 1-1-7, nearly 10 minutes gone in this first quarter. Fast start from the visitors. We're back in the middle. Hickey doing the ruck work. Bell Chambers there as well. Bell Chambers jumped early. McDonald, Tip and Woody couldn't trap it. Kicked off the ground by Shuey. Then a hand pass from Merritt to Tip and Woody. Put him under pressure and he's caught holding the ball. Redden, another tackle. And he'll play on through the middle of the ground. Goes by hand to Gaff. He sends it out wide. West Coast controlling the play. Here's Shuey. Kicks it inside 50 again. Darling one-hander. Strong work from the big man. And he'll go back from 25 metres out. Lots of goals early in this game.
Well, that's where they're so dangerous, the key forwards. It's a good matchup. The Bombers like Ambrose on Darling. They've identified Darling as the key, and they've put their best lockdown defender on him, but he's just had too good a season. He's in too good a form, Jack Darling, and that was a terrific contested mark.
All Australian after another superb season, Jack Darling. And he'll come in, as I said, from about 25 metres out, just stabs at it, and it was good enough. 55 goals for the year for Jack Darling, and it's been a real good one. The West Coast Eagles 2-1-13. They lead the Bombers 2 straight 12. That's on the Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard. IGA Liquor proudly independent.
The Eagles bat really deep through their midfield, and a player for mine that probably needs to really lift in this finals series is Jack Redden. Been a little bit quiet, but he's done a couple of things in this game already that's been really good. Strong over the contest before. He got a free kick when Heppel went too high, and then that tackle then on Tip and Woody was outstanding. So he started well for the Eagles.
Early inside 50s now 9-4 in favour of the West Coast on the Triple M Red Z lending stats.
Trading goals in the first elimination final. Good stuff early. Darling, a wonderful season. There's the bounce. Ruckman fight a draw this time. McDonald, Tip and Woody charges through. Left the ball behind. Gaff coming off the line, grabs it. Hurried kick down towards half forward. Francis in front takes the mark. Francis looks across the ground. It's a 50-metre penalty. Well, advantage is going to be played, I think, out there. It was marked by Snelling. Gives a hand pass to Heppel. Goes in short to Brown. Knocked away by McGovern. They've lost the advantage. Hand pass comes back to Shepherd. Under pressure. Chance for Snelling out there. Gaff arrives. Ball slips out the back. Snelling's got it now. Slips a hand pass away. Deep in the pocket, Fantasia. And he misses to the near side. Scores are level at Optus Stadium in the first elimination final.
So Jenner with the kick out. 12 and a half minutes gone. And he goes long to the far side of the ground. Hickey's the man and the target. He comes from behind. Can't take the mark. Hutchings falls over the top of the footy. Bill Chambers is there to pick it all up. Gives it off to Sard. Gets round on his left and kicks inside attacking 50, but reading it best is Barris, and he's taken the mark in the left back pockets.
Good for his confidence.
Yeah, out of form in recent weeks. Needed the break. And now has the footy, and he'll kick it long. Same direction where it came from. In front was Hooker. He couldn't take the mark. Now it's Sard to Merritt. Merritt will reload for the Bombers. He'll kick to the top of the 50, but went straight into the hands of Brad Shepherd. So a couple of missed opportunities for the Bombers. And Shepherd goes short to Gaff.
Yeah, that's the kick they can't do. They just go straight back down the line, Essendon. They need to keep trying to change the angles.
And Gaff will keep it tight to the boundary. Kicks it in the direction of his big man. His big forward in Darling went through his hands and over the line. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back and bigger than ever. Visit maccasplay.com.au for full terms.
Gaff has started well, Beast.
5 disposals for him already on the Triple M Red Z lending stats.
Boundary throw in. No one won it. Comes in front though, Merritt. Nicely done. Fantasia's hand pass though is smothered. Gaff applies a tackle. Chance for Langford. Backtracks. Hand passes across to Heppel. Creates his own space. Drives inside the forward 50. And up in front, the mark is taken down there by Cripps. Essendon with a lot more possession than the West Coast just now. He goes short and finds McGovern to Cripps. Coming back to help out the defence. McGovern, penetrating kick in front of goal, goes across the ground, finds Schofield, comes out to right half back. Jetta takes the mark and he's away. Oh, precise kick. Finds a man on the logo breaking. That's Rioli. Cleverly pulls it back towards centre half forward. Cripps gets it from Sheed. He's offline. They've taken it end to end, but they kick it behind. And they lead 2-2-14 to 2-1-13. That's on the Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard. IGA proudly independent.
And that's what Essendon need to do, Joey. They need to shut down the switch. They can't allow West Coast to get the other side because we saw how dangerous they were with that one switch. They go down the other end and score. They've got to force West Coast down the line tonight.
So the Bombers will kick out. Big fist forward from Hearn. Back inside his attacking 50. Rioli spins out of trouble. Gives it to Shuey. 35 out on the left. Has missed it completely over the line and out of bounds on the full. So Australia 10 in action in the Ashes, the fourth test. They're 4 for 183. Smith's on 72 and Head just out for 19. And here it's a 1-point ball game. The West Coast Eagles lead at 15.5 gone in the first term.
Kick goes to the outer wing and runs out of bounds. Steve Smith, eh? Wow, what a player. One of the all-time greats. Boundary thrown out there. Left half forward, West Coast attacking. They lead by a point. And the game very even so far. Thrown in. The man in front will get a free kick, I would think. We heard the umpire. Bill Chambers to get that kick. He was the man in front. He's up from right half back, centering ball. An element of danger. Francis juggles the mark. Wants to play on. That's impetuous. Eventually, though, a man does break for him, so he kicks to the wing. Brown, he covers a lot of territory, Brown. Left centre wing, not much movement up ahead. Snelling really the only target, and he's a very small fellow. There goes the high ball from Brown. They're coming from behind now. Laverde was up, couldn't take the mark. Falls in front to Waterman. Hand passes to Rioli. Too cool for school. Eventually gets a hand pass away. Marston kicks it out wide with precision. Brilliant kick. And it finds Hutchings on the lead. Back from a hamstring injury. Hutchings about 80 metres from goal. Kicks it back towards the logo. Taken by McGovern. Normally a long kick. This one is no exception. Deep into attack. Off hands. Cripps will kick a goal. Cripps kicks the goal and extends the lead for the West Coast Eagles. 3-2-20 plays 2-1-13 on the Triple M IGA Liquors scoreboard. And that was a very clever goal. That's the thing Cripps can do for his team.
Jamie Cripps this year is ranked third in the competition for crumbs inside forward 50, Joey. That's exactly what he does. He gets up the ground, but that long ball going inside forward 50, he works really hard to a dangerous spot. Front and square, that's how small crummers get their goals.
Yeah, I thought Essendon defended that reasonably well. They'd forced West Coast to kick it in long and a straight line, but just looking at that, it was Merritt and McGrath. Neither of them defended Cripps at ground level. They got attracted towards the footy. Cripps on his own, you know that's too dangerous. Got to defend a bit better than that if you're a Bombers player.
Lee Montagna joining us here in the West for Seba Super. And it's a 7-point margin. The West Coast Eagles lead it. 17.5 minutes gone in this first term. It's an elimination final. Thursday night footy. The tap good from Yo. Out in front of Shuey. Couldn't pick it up though. Heppel was there. And a high tackle from Nat Nui. A little overzealous. Heppel will get the free. Good to see him back. Had a bit of a rest last week as he kicked it out wide. Could have been a free kick to string up. Been very quiet. Schofield all over him. The kick along the line was a beauty from Gaff. Is that 50 metres? No, but down from Hurley. Was a little late, but not late enough, said the umpire, and Ryan has taken the mark. He kicks it long, inside attacking 50, racing after it, Ambrose. The kick off the ground was good from Darling. Saad there, very quick to get it, gives it back to Ambrose. The little check side will go back into the hands of Ryan. He nearly misjudged it, but he took the mark in the end and will play on. The kick is precise. Brilliant stuff from the little eagle, and Waterman's taken the mark, 30 out on the angle.
What the Eagles do well inside forward 50s, their backs come up, they get the game played in their forward half and they put pressure on. So that kick coming out from the Bombers wasn't precise. They couldn't find a target. They set up behind the footy of the Eagles. That repeat inside 50 entry, great composure from Ryan to find this man Waterman.
Well, he stayed in the side. It was either he or Allen. They went for Waterman's work ethic up and down the ground. He needs to kick a goal, and he does. The young man, the son of a gun, gets the fourth for the West Coast Eagles. 4-2-26, plays 2-1-13. Let's head to the boundary for Bob Jane T-Mart's 10.
Yeah, it's incredible pressure at ground level. A couple of blood rules off at the moment for the Bombers. Darcy Parish just preparing to come back on with a blood nose, and Cale Hooker a cut forehead.
Bob Jane T-Mart's has a month of big deals on big brands such as Bridgestone, Hancock and BF Goodrich.
Well, the West Coast Eagles' foot skills have been on display in this first quarter. They're just so efficient, particularly going forward of centre. Rioli, Ryan, Luke Shuey, Dom Sheed, they're just such good users. They're so efficient, they find targets, and Essendon have just got to be so on their game defensively tonight if they're any chance of winning this one.
Eagles leaded by 13 points. Nat Nui and Bill Chambers. Almost impossible for Bill Chambers to win this with that line across the middle. Nat Nui soars up, taps it down, straight to Gaff. Gaff's kick, he's pushed as he kicked, bounces down towards half forward. Wide of the pack, a chance for Ham. Gives a hand pass off to Shield. Stringer's got it now. Close to the boundary, feigns a hand pass, comes back inboard. High kick towards Bell Chambers. Well, he got rid of an opponent, but was helped out by McGrath to the ground. Bell Chambers himself didn't touch the footy. Now Sard kicks it out towards the wing on the opposite side. Taken by Jetta. Corralled the ball easily. Goes back to the corridor. Taken now by Shuey. Punishing kick inside the forward 50. Waterman was up, couldn't take the mark. Rioli cruises onto the football and bounces it through. Oh, look out, Essendon. Alarm bells are sounding. That was all a bit too easy. 5-2-32, 2-1-13. That's on the Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard. West Coast on top.
Just watch Mitch Ambrose then at half-back. He's got the job on Shannon Hearn as playing as a defensive forward on him tonight. He just had to attack that football. He was too worried about what Shannon Hearn was going to do, and that allowed Jetta to be able to get the football. Understand you're playing a role for your side, but there was a chance to win that footy back, and he decided to stay with Hearn.
Yeah, it's a good call. And Lockie, there were some people in the Tiwi and up in the Northern Territory that said Willie Rioli was the best of all the Riolis, including Cyril. A lot of people laughed at that, but you are starting to see this guy potentially, by the end of his career, could be something very, very special.
Yeah, his goal there nearly as good as Den's call. We're back in the middle. Nat Nui taps it down. Here's Sheed getting amongst the action. On his left, wanted to give a couple of hand passes, couldn't, so put it on the boot, racing after it. McKenna overran it. He goes back to try and get it. McGrath's there to help him out. Gives it off by hand to Shield, right half back. Will kick it up towards half forward, running back with the fly. Courageous stuff from the skipper Shannon Hearn, setting the tone. Couldn't take the mark. Ball rolls over the line. We'll throw it in the forward half of the ground for the Bombers.
Doing some damage for West Coast on the Triple M Red Z landing stat. Gaff has 7 disposals, Cripps 7, and McGovern busy tonight with 6. Last time we saw him on this oval, he was a bit quiet against Hawthorn, so he'd be happy with that.
Good on you, Beast. Mark Committee looking after our stats. 19 points to lead for West Coast. There's a free kick, and it's holding. It'll go Essendon's way, and Hooker will take it. He'll want to play on quickly, Den.
Yep, to Parrish. Parrish with a hand pass, a looping hand pass, a while in the air, and as a result, Ambrose under pressure. McGrath gets away, got the hand pass and kicks inside the centre square, but not with depth. It ricochets back to the kicker. McGrath goes to the outer side this time. A little more on that one. Taken out there by Heppel. Beautiful kick comes back to Parrish, moving down towards half forward. Kicks to space. Oh, that's terrific. And storming up the ground, the mark has been taken. Directly in front of goal and about, I suppose, 35 metres out. Laverde, let's see what he can do. Important kick this one because momentum has swung violently towards the West Coast Eagles. They lead it by 19 points. This to stop the bleeding, at least temporarily. Crowd willing him to miss, and he comes. Kick is on the way, and it's good. Lovely kick under pressure. His team needed that. Third one on the board for Essendon, 3-1-19, and the Eagles are 5-2-32. And we've played how many minutes now? Let's have a look. 23, going on 24 minutes play. First turn.
Well, that was excellent ball movement from Essendon from half-back, and that's exactly how they need to play tonight if they're to win. They took risks. McGrath took the game on through the corridor. Heppel's kick was brilliant back in board into the corridor for Darcy Parish, who wheeled, wasted no time and found Laverde. That was beautiful ball movement.
And one thing we didn't see was just a little block there from Jake Stringer. Doesn't get a stat for it, but that block allows Laverde to be able to get that separation, and it was a wonderful kick inside forward 50 to hit him.
Big first turn for Heppel with 9 disposals on the Triple M Red Z landing stats.
So 13 points is the margin. The Bombers back in it. 24 and a half minutes gone in this first quarter. It's been a great start. Lots of goals, lots of action. The tap out to a bit of open space. Yo tried to kick it off the ground while he was wrestling with Heppel. Well done by Shield, although his kick was just a high one. Parrish underneath it, couldn't hold on to the mark. Quickly kicked forward by Redden to the edge of the square. Here's Ryan, scoops it up, gathers, kicks nicely to the lead of Rioli. He's good buddy on the wing. Rioli can set something up. Look at that pass. Oh, Joey, you're spot on. Stand aside, Cyril. That was on the chest of a leading Darling. And Darling will go back from 50 out to try and kick his seconds. So Darling will have to kick from outside 50. It'll be a tough one. on a slight angle. West Coast looking for their 6th goal of the first term. And their big forward will roost it a long way. And it mightn't even get there. In fact, it was forced through for a minor score for the Bombers. Had plenty of men on the last line. 5-3-33, the West Coast Eagles, 3-1-19. The Bombers 25.5 gone for McDonald's. Triple M rocks footy.
Short one comes to the pocket. Saad drives it outside the defensive 50. Shepherd up high, got a punch on it. There's going to be a free kick though, and it will go to Schofield also in that pack. Good to see him back. Hasn't looked back since he came up and broadcast with us one day. Better player for it. Right half forward, drives it long, down towards full forward. Big pack at the drop. Up was Darling. Kennedy as well flew with him. Picked up by Rioli. Kept it low. That was clever. He kicked under a couple of Essendon players' arms, but it went the wrong side of the goalpost. He's dangerous. Had a good last 5 minutes. 5-4-34, plays 3-1-19.
Sure pass into the pocket's okay. Early's taken the mark. We'll have a look at those Rioli replays. Triple M Bosch tool replay. Good better Bosch. Professional power tools, measuring tools and accessories. As the kick's a long one out of defence, but Jake Waterman takes a good mark in front of Bellchambers.
He's going to be a good player.
Yeah, his work ethic is terrific. And that kick is not too bad as Kennedy charged out on the lead. One of his teammates got in the way and tapped it out of his hands. The Bombers out of trouble. Bellchambers gets it into the hands of the speedster in Saad. Wants the hand pass? No, feigns the hand pass. Comes towards the wing and then a beautiful kick. It's a long one, but straight into the hands of Shannon Hearn. Went a little too high for McDonald, Tip and Woody. And Hearn was there to clean things up. 50 out from his defensive goal. They'll maintain possession now. Nelson receives the short pass. Hasn't seen a lot of it. In fact, Beast, I think that might be his first touch.
Yes. Second.
Oh, that's all right then. And he goes short again to Shepherd. And Shepherd will kick it along the boundary line. Hickey had to come from behind. The tap down to Ryan. He ducked again. The tackle was a high one. Parrish will receive the hand pass. His kick goes sideways. Rioli will fist it forward. Marston there, so too Shield. Well done by Shield. Shrugs off the tackle, gives it to McGrath now to Ambrose. And the Ambrose's kick is a good one to right half back.
Brown on the outer side takes the mark, right on the numbers of the arc. Forward and centre for West Coast. Short one to McGrath. He kicks it out wide. Redmond still the defensive side of centre wing. Just a terrific night for football. It's brisk, but conditions ideal. Little chip over the man on the mark. Finds Parrish. But just for the moment, Essendon seem bereft of ideas. He comes across the ground and gives it up straight to Rioli. Storming back is Kennedy. Kennedy meters in the clear. He's got it now. Well, Hurley didn't react. Hurley was looking entranced by the situation, I think, and failed to run with his man. Kennedy was standing about 10 metres behind him, and suddenly the gap had extended to 30.
Well, poor old Hurley was setting up for the switch, and when you turn the footy over like that, just on quarter time, a bad turnover. This is not what Essendon want after West Coast have got off to a really good start in the first.
Kennedy, will that put him off? Kicks after the siren. No, it doesn't. It inspires him. And he tries to inspire the crowd. How about that? 6 goals now for the West Coast Eagles at quarter time. Very handy lead. 6-4-40. Plays 3-1-19. That's on the Triple M IGA Liquor scoreboard. The McDonald's Triple M rocks footy.
Right start from the home team here at Optus Stadium. It's the West Coast Eagles off to a flyer. They're 6-4-40, but the Bombers did okay. They're still in the game. Don't you worry about that. They're 3-1-19. Josh Kennedy with a late goal. That was his second of the game so far. Gents, what did you make of that first term, Joey?
Well, really, it was relatively even through the middle parts of the ground, but West Coast, just when they get their opportunities, their skill level stands out. We're just talking off air about talent in your front half. You can't teach that. You can't necessarily train that up, but if you've got skill like Rioli and Ryan, and Darling and Kennedy in your front half, you're going to score if you get the ball in. And 20 inside 50s to 10 is the big worry if you're a Bombers fan. You can't allow the Eagles to get that much ball in their front half because they're so damaging by foot and their talent, they're going to hurt you every time.
To Essendon's credit, I thought they worked really hard around the contest. They won their fair share. They won clearances. They won centre bounce clearances. But what West Coast do really well is they set up well behind the football. And the Eagles were able to win the footy back time and time again. And when you have a look at both forward lines at the moment, you see Darling, you see Kennedy. When they go inside forward 50, and Joey, you spoke about that talent inside your forward 50, they look really dangerous. On the flip side of that, when Essendon go forward, there's McGovern, there's Schofield, there's Hearn. Their ability to win that footy back and then go on transition was the big difference in that first quarter.
Yeah, and Essendon are going to need a lift from their forwards, Lockie. McKernan, 0 touches. Tip and Woody hasn't touched the ball. Stringer, only 1 touch. Fantasia, the 3. So the Essendon forwards have got to find a way to involve themselves in the game. They can't allow West Coast defenders to continue to dominate off half-back. Otherwise, this game will be out of reach.
21 points the margin. West Coast lead it. They're 6-4-40. The Bombers 3-1-19. Take it away, Den.
Cool night. Kennedy with a couple of goals. And West Coast, the fast start. Umpire's got the footy. Umpire Fisher. Matt Nui's in there. He's had a big effect. Well, a lot of taps.
Well, I like this move by John Worsfold, Dennis. We spoke about Tip and Woody and Stringer hardly having an impact up forward. Well, they've both started in the centre bounce. So people say John Worsfold can't mix it up. Look, he's trying to do something here, getting his forwards, trying to get them a possession, get them involved. Then they can go back and play as a forward.
Well, he can mix it up if he listens to you. That's what you're saying. 40 plays 19. Good on you, Joey. Bounce in the centre. Rucks go at it. Bounce favours Bill Chambers. He hooks it down behind his Stringer. His kick was smothered. Slapped forward by Shuey, taken by Natanui. Gives it across to Yo. Kick inside the forward 50 at the back of the pack. Kennedy runs into an open goal and gets his third. How's that for a start? 46 plays 19. 7-4 to 3-1. That's on the Triple M Installer Ream scoreboard. Solar, continuous flow and storage hot water. Ream is Australia's favourite.
Big moment for mine at centre bounce. Stringer looks to win the clearance. Jack Redden smother, absolutely crucial. So instead of the Bombers going inside forward 50, the Eagles win the ball back. Their pressure's been really good and they go inside forward 50. They're getting their bigs to really stand up over the back. And Kennedy, who's been under a bit of pressure, he's the big gun and he's standing up in a big final.
His season was almost over, career ending. The big knee injury. He's looking the goods, Embers. The special spray,
he's
maybe.
He's kicked 3 so far.
Never write off a champion. That's your lesson.
A little scrape at training. People thought he might have done his knee, but he's A-OK and he's looking the goods out of the middle. Big leap from Nat Nui, but the kick forward from Bell Chambers. And through the hands of his teammate, Shepherd's there to clean up. Tip and Woody lays a tackle on Shuey. Just has to hand pass it wildly out towards the wing. Running onto its Stringer. Goes with a 15-metre hand pass to McKenna, who on the left will bomb it inside 50. Tip and Woody. McDonald, Tip and Woody found some space and needed this mark and possession to get some confidence, and he's a chance to kick at goal. It'll be a tough one from the angle. He'll be kicking from around 52 metres.
And that's what Joey mentioned. When you start inside the centre square and then the ball leaves, your ability to be able to push forward without a matchup. And that's what Tip and Woody was able to do there. He didn't have that tight defender on him. And that's how he was able to sneak forward and take this grab.
So from 52, a little stutter, then sends it on its way. It's a long kick and it's hit the post. That was a good kick. From that angle and that distance, that was a beauty. Little tap from Liam Ryan as he runs past, saying that was nice. 3-2-20, plays 7-4-46. It's the West Coast Eagles by 26.
His first possession of the night, McDonald, Tip and Woody. Ball is driven towards the outer side by Hearn. Well, that was a magic kick onto the chest of Ryan. Low trajectory all the way. It was a hummer, about 3 metres above the turf for about 45 metres. He goes wide. Shepherd takes the mark out there, nothing new. Leads the league in marks this season. Plays on, gets a Shepherd from Shuey. Shepherd with the Shepherd, kicks it down towards half forward. Little bit of push in the back to Darling, no free kick. Hacked out of mid-air by Yo. That's careless, should have taken the ball. It goes out of bounds on the full down towards the pocket. Gives the ball back. Hurley's got it. Or is it Hooker? It's Hooker who's got it. He kicks it short to Stringer. Hooker, a West Australian, Now it's with McKenna, an Irishman who drives it down towards half forward. Laverty comes across. No idea. Probably a Victorian. Laverty goes inside the forward 50. High ball from behind, trying to punch away Shepherd. Did well. Loose ball in front. Hearn did well, gave it back to Shepherd, and then Shepherd drives it up towards the wing. Redmond tried to take the mark, missed it. It ricochets across towards Rioli. He gave it to Darling. Darling goes short to Kennedy. Oh, brilliant. Over his left shoulder, gave it to Ryan. Ryan runs into an open goal and kicks another one for the West Coast Eagles. And it's a parade at the moment. All one-way traffic. The Eagles are 8-4-52, Essendon 3-2-20, and that's on the Triple M Install the Ream scoreboard.
Well, you can only sit back and admire what we're watching, this talented West Coast side. Again, it was Essendon who had the play. Laverde had McKernan. The kick just sat up a little bit too high for McKernan, and then from the turnover, West Coast ability to go one end of the other with Rioli and Ryan involved. It's just pretty to watch, and it's ominous signs for Essendon because it's now out to 5 goals. It's going to be very, very difficult from here.
The boys are looking after Seabus Super. Joey and Embers are here offering members insurance cover that protects building and construction workers. The margin now 32 points.
Rioli now with 8 disposals, 3 marks, 3 inside 50s and 7 scoring involvements to go with 1 goal on the Triple M Red Z Lending stats.
Red Z Lending loan specialist for the self-employed. He's on fire at the moment. Beast could tackle late on McDonald, Tip and Woody. Nat Nui gets away the hand pass to Redden. They're out again. This is Sheed. He'll have 1 bounce, 2 bounces, settles himself, looks inside 50, then gets around his opponent. The kick, a dangerous one, nearly spot on. Great play, McGrath, although it comes down towards Kennedy, gives it to Ryan. He's got back-to-back goals. The Eagles are flying high. 5 minutes into the second term, they led it by 38 points. 9-4-58. Plays 3-2-20. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back and bigger than ever. Visit maccasplay.com.au for full terms.
Well, it's pretty to watch by the West Coast Eagles. Their ability to be able to win the footy from the centre bounce at the moment, their pressure to be able to win the footy back, and they've got numbers streaming forward. They are so clean with football in hand, and they are making the most of their opportunities when they go inside their forward 50. It's been a terrific start to the game by them.
Natnu is off the ground. Hickey is back on, so Essendon need to make some hay here. There's the bounce. It comes back over Hickey's head, taken by Bill Chambers, who kicks it down towards half forward. Fantasia's got it on the bounce. Hand passes out wide. McGrath tracks it down towards left half forward. Kicks inside the forward 50. Oh, and between 2 Eagles, the mark has been taken by Snelling. Well, I suppose you could say a good kick, but I'm not sure it was. He just pulled it back from wide on the flank there. And the mark, as I say, between 2 Eagles, taken by a small player, but a chance to kick a goal.
He's justifying his position in the side tonight. Snelling already kicked the 1. This is big for the Bombers.
Picked up in the mid-season draft, and he comes. Kick is on the way, and he's put it through. Gee, they needed that one. No coincidence, I'd say, that Nat Nui wasn't on the ground. 9-4-4-2. They did better inside the centre square that time. And the margin is 32 points, and that's on the Triple M Install the Ream scoreboard.
Yeah, it was a great call, Dennis. Not only the call, but the special comments to say that Essendon needed to make the most of this centre bounce opportunity. Without Nick Nat, Bell Chambers did exactly that. He won the centre clearance himself, got the ball going Essendon's way, and they were able to find something. And they're going to have to try and do it again because this is their opportunity to get back in the game.
Sucking up to it.
Hey?
There.
Oh, what?
Brilliant.
No, we should be here every night. We can afford the trip over every week, can't we? Not that Embers needs the help. Now I'm getting myself in a hole.
We can't afford anything with you in the box. The budget is just not big enough.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, the stats man had to come on for free.
I would endanger my pension if I'm taking that.
9-4 plays 4-2. The Bombers sticking around. They need another one, though. They're out of the middle, possibly now. They are. Shield gather. Then slap it on the boot. Kick it up towards right half forward. The bounce a little awkward for Hearn. Heppel there amongst it. Oh, well done, Lewis Jetta. Somehow got it to Hearn. He spun out of trouble. Short pass good to Sheed. Gives it back to the hands of the reliable kicker in Jetta. His kick is spot on. To the front of the centre square. Waterman on the lead. Kennedy. And he takes another mark. He's kicking for goal number 4.
Just can't stop that, can you? And when the West Coast Eagles use the footy as well as they do, they come back through the middle off the ground. and the fat side of the forward 50 opens up, and the way the Eagles forwards get high up the ground, they allow the space for Kennedy to be able to move into. It was a wonderful kick inside forward 50 to find him.
So he's taking his time now. Josh Kennedy, 5 disposals, has the 3 goals, the normal stutter, then the kick, and he's pushed it across the face. A minor score. Let's head to the boundary. Bob Jane T-Marts.
Yeah, Adam Saad preparing to come back on the ground. Mark Hutchings has had the job on him. It's the closest tag I've seen all season. They don't like each other, these two, and they're both getting ready to come back on the ground.
Bob Jane T-Marts. Bob Jane T-Marts has a month of big deals on big brands such as Bridgestone, Hankook and BF Goodrich.
Ball at right half back for Essendon after the kick in. And the umpire calls for it. On top of the football is Waterman. On top of him is Parrish. So right in front of our commentary position on a still night. Knocked down by Hickey. It ricochets back to him. He kicks from about 52, just lobs it down towards full forward. And coming over the top, a good mark is taken by Francis. Francis, in that situation, showed the judgment. Told to play on now, so about 15 metres out from his defensive goal. He kicks to a contest, if you don't mind. Ryan was up in front. Ball spills to the back. Taken by Fantasia. Gives a hand pass off. Trying to get through there was McKenna. Succeeded eventually. Kicks the ball out towards the wing. Trying to be a little too fancy, Rioli. Trying to slap it back between his legs, but bearing down. A defender was able to get the ball across the boundary line. That was Snelling. He seems to be up at... No, he's not. He's back towards the forward line now as I speak. He's jogging back. I thought for a moment he was stationed on the wing or behind the wing.
Ball gets thrown back into play. Hickey taps it down. Gaff's kick was smothered and then he fell over. Kick forward from Bell Chambers. We cut off by Cripps. Cripps now can passes inside attacking 50. Kennedy lays the tackle on Hooker. McGrath working hard for his Bombers. It's inside 50 for the West Coast Eagles. And we'll ball it up 45 metres out. It's the Eagles leading by 33 points. 10 minutes gone in this second term. Well played Bell Chambers, used his muscle to get that tap down, then kicking it off the ground. McGrath out towards the boundary line. Snelling up against Jeddah. Beautiful scoop up from Jeddah and a terrific mark from Francis. He stood a little taller than Rioli and took the grab in the left back pockets. Although the umpire says maybe it was out of bounds, the kick, so he won't get that mark, unfortunately. It was a beauty. He'll remember it, but it won't count. We'll throw it back in. 60 around from West Coast goal. They led it by 33 points.
So boundary throw in on the outer side, about 60 metres from West Coast attacking goal. Hickey directs it down with his right hand, spills behind the pack, picked up by Langford. He immediately throws it on the boot, sends it up towards the wing, taken by Brown, tackled without it. Ball jarred loose. In goes Nelson, trying to force it through. The other side of the pack waiting for him there was Stringer, and the umpire will ball it up. Outer side. As I said earlier, terrific conditions for footy. No excuses tonight. And West Coast have been very precise. Strong tackle by Shuey. Jars the ball loose on the outer side. McGrath grabs it for Essendon, kicks it back to the wing. Redden, slick, gives a hand pass across towards Sheed. He sends it inside the forward 50 for West Coast. Off hands Rioli. Gets a hand pass away. Cripps slipped over. In goes McGrath again. He's battling hard. Redmond's got the football. West Coast have got him, and he's dumped by Cripps over the boundary line. Holding the ball, says the umpire. Well, he was backtracking towards the boundary, and now Adidai Dick has got it. That's Cripps. And there's a chance from here. Although it's a tough kick for a right footer. You've almost got to give away the goal to the right-hand side. Not many players have the courage to do that. If you get it skinny, you look a little foolish. And he comes. Kick is on the way. He's done pretty well with it. That's a terrific effort. Oh, my word. That is a sensational goal. His second. And the boys behind me have both kicked a few. How good was that?
Unbelievable, that goal. That is the hardest kick in football from that junction, the 50 and the boundary line, to kick it left to right. Absolute beauty.
Just fumbling a bit at the moment, the Bombers. They're under pressure and they're not helping themselves because they haven't been clean. And once they have that slight fumble, West Coast pressure been outstanding, forcing the Bombers into the turnover. That's exactly what happened there. Redmond there, just a little bit indecisive. And great tackle from Cripps, and the finish, as Joey mentioned, was absolutely outstanding.
Cripps now the high man for the Eagles 2 on the Triple M Red Z Lenny stats. 10 disposals for him, 5 scoring involvements, 2 goals, 2.
39 points is West Coast lead on the Triple M Installer Ream scoreboard. We're back in the middle. Nat Nui, another tap down to Shuey. He'll kick it forward. It's a wobbler inside 50. Francis back with a fly to the footy. Reading it best, then caught in a tackle. No, got away from it. Then his hand pass was a little loose. The pressure came from Yo. He gave it to Nat Nui. This will bring the house down. Oh, it's bounced up in the air. To spoil the party, Hurley came in to save the day. Good defence from the Bombers. 10-6-66, plays 4-2-26. Australia 4 for 209. Dan Smith is on 80, Wade on 12.
Your voice broke then. You were like Frankie Valley. You probably don't remember Frankie Valley.
Yeah, 4 seasons. Yeah.
That's right, yeah. Jersey boys. Boundary throw and outside the 50. I liked it. 10-6-66, 4-2-26. Eagles on top. On a balmy night now, just a beautiful night for footy, as we said earlier. Ball behind the pack after the boundary throw-in. Gathered by Cripps again, another possession. Got it to Nat Nui, across to Gath, who kicks it down towards full forward. But going back was Darling, and the mark is taken by Ambrose, who chips it to the pocket. Parrish comes away with it, needs precision, hasn't got it. Brown was a couple of metres inside the line, up towards the wing. He tried for him and missed him wide, and it's gone out of bounds on the full. So Hearn, who can kick a footy, can put this deep into attack. He goes wide, sends a long ball down towards full forward. Big pack at the drop. Well, just ghosting across in front of the pack is Hickey. No body at all on him. And as a result, the easiest of marks. He's 20 metres out, very slight angle, and should kick another goal for the West Coast Eagles. If he does, it's their 11th.
Been a big week for Tom Hickey. Had his first little baby earlier in the week, Lou, so him and his partner Chloe. Congratulations to them. And his first final as well. So big week for Tom Hickey.
Wow.
Second stat, Dennis.
He knows all about the West Coast Eagles. Some blokes wouldn't try, would they, from the east? Here goes the kick from Hickey. Whoops. You got him all sentimental. Your voice carries. He's missed.
I bumped into his mum and dad in the lift. So I had to chat to them in the lift.
A former St Kilda player as well, looking after each other.
All righty, so Sard has it from full-back. Needs to do something brilliant. The kick's a good one. McDonald Tippenwoody takes the mark. Plenty of bodies falling over in front of him. So it's West Coast by 41 now. He goes back inside his defensive 50. We've ticked over 15 and a half minutes. And they'll spread it wide. The kick is a beauty to the far side of the ground. So well played by the Bombers. Ham's taking the mark. Can go short to Francis. Still at half back though. West Coast have got their numbers back, although that kick through the middle of the ground was really, really good. To Shield, to Sarden, off he goes. Hand passes a beauty to Parrish. Now out wide to McDonald Tippenwoody. Little bit of a fumble, but had time to get rid of the football. Kicks it inside 50. McGovern's there to try and take the mark. Nelson grabs hold of it, caught in a tackle, brought to ground, holding the ball. Well played, Bombers. Heppel stopped him in his tracks, and then he was brought down. And it'll be Fantasia who laid the important tackle and will get the kick at goal from about 40 metres out straight in front.
Just seen on display there the importance of Adam Saar. They want to get the ball in his hands, and for one of the few times in this game he was able to get separation off Mark Hutchings, and the run and carry just opens it up, makes something happen. That's what Essendon need to continue to do, get the ball in his hands at every opportunity.
Needs this goal, understatement. Straight in front, kicks, and is really happy with it. A fifth for the Bombers. They're 5-2-32. The Eagles 10-7-67. That's on the Triple M Installer Ream scoreboard. Solar continuous flow and storage hot water. Ream is Australia's favourites.
Yeah, and the best way to get Adam Sard into the game, it was the courage from Francis to kick the ball into the corridor, which allowed Sard to then run from behind and receive that handball. And that's what Essendon have got to continue to do if they're going to kick a big enough score to win this game. It is high risk, high reward. We've seen them turn it over and cost themselves goals at times. They know that, but they've just got to keep going for it if they're going to give themselves a chance.
Nat Nui back out there now. He's been so impressive tonight. He is one of a kind. And with this line across the middle, as I said before, so hard to beat him if the umpire's bouncing the ball reasonably well, or if he's not, he'll throw it up for you. So no problems really. Natanui wins this decisively down to Gaff. He kicks it down towards half forward. Opportunity for Hutchings, couldn't take the mark. Redmond batters into the pack, gets a hand pass to McKenna. He slips it away to Shield. Shield a hand pass to Heppel. He's tried very hard, Heppel under pressure. Hurried kick towards midfield. It was touched, punched away from behind by Nelson. Well played by Parrish. Wins a hard ball. Kicks towards half forward, but the kick let him down and Hearn takes the mark.
He's got to get better, Parrish. He's turned some footy over tonight. He's missed a couple of handballs. He hasn't started this game well. He needs to improve there.
Sheed offers a lead out towards the outer side for Hearn. Nobody was moving. And eventually Sheed battles for the ball out there and it goes out of bounds. Coming up from behind was Redmond. He did well. He covered some ground. Gave a contest and then the boundary throw in. So a good result there for Essendon.
Second term inside 50s, 11-4 in favour of West Coast on the Triple M Reds Atlantic stats.
The Eagles lead it by 35. Deep into the second term here at Optus Stadium. Quick kick forward by Gaff. Bounces over everyone's head. Well played McKenna. Now they're out. Francis looks through the middle. McKenna ran hard for him. Decides to come out wide. And the kick will be okay. Langford on the end of it on the wing. Will kick to the middle of the ground. Plenty of numbers for the Bombers.
Ooh.
And the pressure came from behind. It was a good mark in the end. Yo made Shield earn it though. And in the centre circle he takes the grab. And Shield now needs to spot someone up. He looks to the top of the 50. Shepherd did the body work. Ball comes down to ground. McKernan, fit of the fumbles. Gathers it though. Hand passes to a teammate under pressure. Trying to barge his way through his Nelson. He might be in trouble again. He took him on. He was brought down and caught holding the ball. So Merritt will take the free. And he'll kick it quickly. Needs someone to fly. Tackle form, Schofield fisted away, came down to Sard, he gathers from 35, super goal from Sards. Great response from the Bombers. They've kicked a couple in a row and now they go to Hutchings just to stir him up, saying you better keep hold of him because he's on fire. 10-7-67 the Eagles, 6-2, 38s for the Bombers. A little fight back, 20 minutes gone in the seconds.
Now again, forward pressure from Essendon. It was good effort by Zach Merritt to get that holding the ball again. Just give them some repeat inside 50s and Sard just in the right spot, pushing hard up the ground and a nice finish too. It just gives them a bit of a sniff late in this second quarter, keep them involved in the game, get a bit of belief back because as Embers touched on earlier in this quarter, it looked like they might have lost a bit of composure and their confidence was waning, but consecutive goals now just keeps them in the contest.
The last 10 minutes have been more competitive.
Yep.
Zach Merritt's figures, Beast?
6 for Merritt so far, so a little bit quiet by his standards. Sard now with 10 disposals on the Triple M Reds Atlantic stats.
He's a star. They want something from him now. They need it in the run up to half time. It's going to be a free kick. The leg was up from Hickey. Bell Chambers with that free kick elects to hand pass, gives it to Shield. High ball inside the forward 50. Well wide though. It was indirect, but it could be an Essendon free kick. Things are starting to run for the Bombers. Laverde's got a free kick.
Just making the most of Nick Natanui being on the bench at the moment here, the Bombers.
He sends it high, took something off the kick towards full forward. Stringer with the run, got high, couldn't take the mark. Plenty of Eagles around the football. Grabbed by Yo, the kick coming out, not so flash, onto the chest of Sard. Now Sard indicates he thinks he's got a chance here. He'll go round on that left foot, so he'll get a bit of angle on this one. Rioli is on the mark. Sard certainly giving the impression he's going to take a shot from here, which doesn't mean necessarily that he will, but he can kick it a fair way, Sard. Exciting player. Just finding the football.
Yeah, great 5 minutes for Sard too. If he can finish off here, it'll give his team a real lift.
Going at their 7th goal. There he goes, running around, trying to get more power on the kick. Well, it won't be a goal initially, at least. A big pack down there. Ball falls in front. Barris was there, taken to the ground. Waterman, a quick hand pass out of the congestion, gave it to Shepherd. Now a fast break is on for the West Coast Eagles. No, Essendon do well. They chop it off at half back. They were ready to go, the West Coast Eagles. Loaded up for bear, but suddenly held up. Now out of defence, Sard, or rather Rashid, kicks into an oncoming player there. McDonald, Tip and Woody, and ricochets luckily across to Nelson, who drives it around the outer side, but suddenly the pressure is on the West Coast Eagles, but perhaps the second time in the game. The first time was very early on, a chance for Shield across half-back. Charging in and doing well was Redden. Gets a hand pass away. Now charging down towards half forward is Yo. High ball down towards full forward. To the back of the pack. Getting back quickly and pushing the ball across the line is Hurley. Happy to concede a behind. It's 10-8-68 to 6-2-38. West Coast on top on the Triple M Installer Ream scoreboard.
So it's 30 points. Now the margin. The kick is a long one to this broadcast side. Lewis Jetta had to come from behind. There were two Bombers standing to take the mark, Heppel and Hookup. And Jetta did a good job. 10 on the boundary. Bob Jane T-Marts.
Yeah, Nick Nat just doing a few stretches. He wants to get on and stem the floodgates that have opened.
Yeah, they certainly have responded, the Bombers. They need just one more, maybe even two, as we approach half-time. Bell Chambers against Hickey. Came down into the hands of Yo. His kick is a high one, not 15 metres. Heppel took the mark, played on by hand to Shield. Starting to get amongst it as well. His kick into the middle of the ground. Oh, beautiful mark, Fantasia. No, Laverde it was. The one hand up, left hand dragged it down inside the centre square. Will now kick inside 50 to the advantage of Shepherd. He was pushed over and Brown will give away the free kick. Shepherd read it best. Brown had to do some physical stuff to try and get hold of it. And now they'll play on.
Oh!
Kick to the wing and Ryan jumps over the top of Hickey. Hit came from Shuey. Ryan on the wing. Kick straight into the man on the mark in Merritt. He'll go back and try and keep it to his team's advantage. Somehow got it to Redden. Gave it to Nat Nui. His kick cut off by Hurley at half-back, and Hurley will relieve the pressure for the Bombers.
Essendon doing well now. Full credit to them. Hurley at right half-back. They've not given up the fight. He lobs it beyond the wing. Bell Chambers in front takes the mark. Good for his confidence. Slips a hand pass away. Brilliant play. Ryan diving across the boot of Redmond. Smothered a would-be kick. The ball was dropping towards his boot and somehow Ryan knocked it away. Now a hard ball is won on the ground by the West Coast Eagles. Waterman across to Redden. Kicks it down towards half forward. Darling came to meet it. Got it on the half volley. Couldn't control it. Ambrose gets a hand pass from Shield. Gives it across to Hurley. Kicks it up towards the wing. Shepherd from behind punched away. Taken by Nelson. He runs away. Takes the ball to the wing. Kicks it down towards half forward. Nothing doing, and the mark is held up by Ambrose.
Had a bit of a horror patch. Jackson Nelson in this second term. Couple of holding the balls. That was a poor kick. And the Bombers slowly working it out of their defensive half of the ground. Francis to Heppel. Heppel needs to send it to the middle of the ground. And the mark's been taken by Redmond. So a little bit of composure here for the Bombers. He'll kick it long, but he'll kick it straight into the hands of Barras. There was no Bomber in sight, and Barras just ran up, took it on the chest, and now will play on and kick it out towards the boundary line. Just defensive side of the wing to Hearn, and kicks it back to Barras. Needs a couple of touches. He goes short inside his D50 to Luke Shuey. It's West Coast leading the way by 30 points, not far away from half-time. And they've still got it. Jackson Nelson, 45 out from his defensive goal. This is what West Coast like to do. Maintain possession, short little kicks. Marston has it. Still 50 out from his defensive goal. He'll kick it along the line. Nat Nui maybe comes in from behind. He does. Read it beautifully. Bell Chambers too far behind him to try and knock it out of his hands, and Nat Nui takes it on the wing. It is still West Coast by 30 points, 26 and a half minutes gone in the second term.
Sweeps a hand pass out towards the wing, does Nat Nui. Taken out there by Jetta. And the kick not particularly good. It's wide, either marked or out of bounds on the full. Wait for the call. Yeah, it's a mark. It's being paid to Ambrose down there. So Ambrose looking down the outer wing. Will he go down the line? I would imagine he will. There goes the high ball. Big pack. Nat Nui got rid of somebody. Almost took the mark. It fell in front. Zach Merritt grabs it. Kicks a high one just beyond the wing. Awkward bouncing football. Stringer did nicely. Hand passes to Shield. Can they get a late goal? Snelling back to Shield. It was low and awkward. Shield couldn't control it. West Coast fumble at half-back, but eventually McGovern with a cool head kicks it up towards the wing and Darling. Maybe it's the Eagles with a late goal. He goes across the ground. Redden in space. Redden goes down towards half-forward. Poor kick. Sard takes the mark and he's away. Has a bounce. The stadium hold their breath. He's off. Nat Nui runs him down. Forced the error with the kick. It bounces. feebly down towards half forward, chopped off by the West Coast Eagles, and the moment has gone for Saad.
A ruckman has run down one of the fastest players in the competition. He is back big time, Nick Nat. The ball's out on the far side. Hutchings will take it on the wing. Less than a minute to go. That'll look good on the Triple M Bosch Tools replay. Good bit of Bosch, power tools, measuring tools and accessories as Hutchings kicks it along the line. Francis there to work it over the boundary line. Will throw it back into play.
There's a buzz going around the ground. That's how the word Nat Nui sounds when 50,000 people say it.
Quite amazing. Saad was off. Nat Nui just got there to put the pressure on the kick. The rain delay in the cricket, 4 for 214. Smith on 81. Wade on 16. Ball thrown back in. Shuey gets away the hand pass to Redden. His kick inside attacking 50. Over the top, Kennedy brings it to ground. Rioli's kick was smothered. Heppel in there trying to work hard for the Bombers. Gave it off to Francis. Lobbing hand pass to McGrath, and well played. His short pass is good to Brown in the right back pockets.
Only seconds remaining in the term then. That was a dangerous time right there in their defensive goal square for Essendon, but they saw it off. Now McGrath's got it, and I think they've seen out the danger. And the second half of this quarter has been very good for Essendon. The kick comes up short of the wing, and a good mark is taken in that pack by McGovern, who gets up gingerly. Siren sounds. He probably wishes he didn't go for that one. He's still on one knee, Jeremy McGovern. It's half-time at Optus Stadium. First elimination final. The winner goes on and plays the loser of Geelong and Collingwood. West Coast. Well, they had a big lead halfway through this term. Essendon have wrestled some of it back. It's 10-8-68 to 6-2-38 for McDonald's Triple M Rocks footy.
30 points the lead of the West Coast Eagles. We're not far away from the third quarter getting underway. The Bombers they're very keen. They're already out on the ground. The umpires making their way out. And, of course, West Coast a little slow at the moment. Let's get some Triple M Red Z lending stats with the Beast.
Thanks, Locke. Yeah, leading the way for West Coast was Redden with 15 disposals, 5 scoring involvements. Shuey had the 13 with 3 clearances. Gaff and Cripps, 11 disposals each with 5 scoring involvements well to go with those goals that he had. Rioli, 10 disposals, 7 scoring involvements, 1 goal for him. Nick Nat, 9 disposals, 11 hit-outs, 2 clearances, 4 scoring involvements in 33 minutes. So, as Joey said, pretty good possession game for him so far as well, but having a massive impact, much bigger than those stats suggest. Kennedy, 3 goals. Cripps, Ryan, 2 goals apiece. And for Essendon, leading the way was Heppel. He had 14 disposals in that first half, 6 of them contested, 4 marks, 3 scoring involvements. McGrath, Shield, 13 disposals apiece. Shield also had the 3 clearances. Saad, 12 disposals to go with 1 goal. McGrath also had the 1 goal. McKenna, Francis, 11 disposals apiece. Snelling was the only man with 2 goals for the Bombers. Essendon were a +1 in clearances, but West Coast +11 in contested ball, +7 in marks, +11 in hit-outs, +16 in inside 50s. And that's a Triple M Red Z lending stats for the first half lot.
Good on your base, Smart Committee, looking after those tonight. Hey, Joey, how'd you find the Dennis Committee Media Centre?
Oh, I really enjoyed it. I got all the perfect directions, and then I did notice that when you've got a media centre named after yourself, I had a water that I'd bought that I needed, and Dennis just turned around, took my water and said, "Thank you very much." And I wasn't going to argue, because when you've got a media centre named after you, you're allowed to do whatever you want. So I just spent that first half a bit parched in the mouth. I didn't have any water, but I've now been able to get one at half time. So you're more than welcome, Dennis. I'm very lucky. I'm lucky and privileged to be be in your media centre. So
Embers should have told you the rules.
I witnessed that too, Joey. That was pretty stiff. Especially, I thought, coming in, you deserved a bit more respect than that. I thought he was trying to sort of...
It's Dennis's centre, and I understand.
If you need a lift back to the Crown as well, the chauffeur will pick Dennis up. The traffic will be stopped, and you'll be able to get a straight ride out of the traffic. Show there, Joey.
Drop me off please, Dennis.
If only it were true.
The legend of the West, Simply Energy, giving you the opportunity to the experience of a lifetime at the 2019 AFL Grand Final, thanks to Toyota. For you and 3 mates, go to simplyenergy.com.au to enter. Orient Sunday AFL authorised Grand Final promotion, Den GFAFL 19/89.
And Embers was talking about Jack Redden before the game. Well, he heard you. He's played well.
He has been, yeah. He's one of those midfielders that just sometimes can get lost when you've got Shuey, when you've got Yo and Gaff, and I just feel like he really needs to stand up. He hasn't been at his absolute best in the second half of the season, but his first half's been brilliant. He's had the 15 touches, but for mine, just some of the pressure acts that he's been able to do, some big smothers, some really strong tackles. He's really setting himself for a big final series.
Well, Essendon, it could have been far worse. Their second half of the second quarter was pretty good. They came back solidly at the West Coast Eagles. It seemed to rout until that time. Natanui's out in the middle now. At quarter time it was 6-4 to 3-1, so the margin was 21. It blew out. It came back to 30. 10-8 to 6-2 as we resume hostilities here at Optus Stadium. Sellout crowd, of course, because, well, the West Coast Eagles coming off a poor performance. A lot of speculation about how they would go. Well, tonight they've been pretty good so far. Let's see what the second half brings. 10-8 to 6-2 as we begin this second half. Third quarter now. There's the bounce. Bill Chambers with a big job again. Well, they fought a draw, and that's a good result for Essendon, although Naitanui gets the ball on the ground and is penalised for a throw. So all round, it works for Essendon. Free kick going to Merritt. He's a player who needs to lift. Really quality player. Goes to another quality player in Shield. He's been okay. Forward end of the centre square, turns around. That was a quick kick. He didn't look. Offhand, Shepherd gets it. Could have been held without it by Fantasia. No free kick. It's about 25 metres out from Essendon's attacking goal, and we're going to get a ball up.
Yeah, not a great kick by Dylan Shield there. He just needed to back off and give his forwards time to actually create a lead and an option. He just bombed it high, gave them nothing.
Here's Merritt, sharked it from the ruck contest, kicked towards the goal square, and Barris stood there and took a chest mark. Good defence from the Eagle defender. He gave it over to Hearn, who ran and kicked it straight to Heppel. So the Bombers a chance to relaunch themselves back inside attacking 50. It's a high one. Barris from behind. The fist came from McGovern. Came into the hands of Sard. He got rid of it though. Snelling gathers. Under pressure. Kicks towards the goal line. And once again, the Eagles have someone standing back. On this occasion, it's Shannon Hearn, who'll go short to Shepherd, still in the left back pocket. It's West Coast leading the way by 30 points. It's been in Essendon's forward half of the ground to start this third term. Shepherd kicks it out wide. That's a beautiful mark from Yo, and he'll play on and open things up. Goes by hand to Gaff, chips it over the top to a running Redden. He's got Rioli. Rioli speeds away. Does he decide to bounce? No. The short pass, perfect. You'd love that delivery every day of the week, and Kennedy was on the end of it. He'll go back from outside 50 for a fourth goal. Been a little quiet since he started on fire.
Well, Ember spoke about Jack Redden, who needed to lift a play that'd been down. Well, Josh Kennedy's another one who, great to see him get a little bit of form back, because these are the players that if they're going to try and win a flag from outside the top four, need to be back in red-hot form.
So he kicked the first goal of the game, then the first two of the second quarter. Can he do the same in this third term? He's sent it on its way, and I think it's gone straight through. Number 4 for JK. 11-8-74 the Eagles. The Bombers 6-2-38. That's on the Triple M Simply Energy scoreboard. Simply Energy powering up the AFL.
Well, we spoke about the aerial contest tonight was going to be really crucial, and that's what West Coast can do. They take big contested marks. This particular time, it was Elliot Yo, and then from that, they move it really quickly. Their forwards are high, and the space opened up, and it's just so hard to defend. Hooker was covering the goal side, but when you come back up the kicker, you just can't stop that. And West Coast have used the footy really well tonight, and a wonderful finish from JK, who's now got his fourth.
And 48 goals for the season, including 7 against North Melbourne in round 19. He turned 32 a couple of weeks back. There's the bounce in the centre. Naitanui changes hands in mid-air. That's hard to do. Got it down to Shuey. Hand pass to Redden. His kick is marked across half back. And it's taken there by Fantasia? McKenna. Whoa, the blonde hair got me. Oh, well, I've read the future. Fantasia's marked the ball on the wing. That's hard to do. He kicks it down towards half forward. Up was McKernan. Couldn't take the mark. Trying to soccer it off the ground there initially was Snelling. Goes after the football aggressively. Well played. Kept the pressure on Hearn. He knocked it across to Barris. Hurried kick comes out from Shuey. Taken by Marston. Gave it to Shepherd. Looping hand pass over the top. Taken by Redden. Gives it to Yo. And the skipper drives it down, or rather the star drives it down towards half forward. Darling, some hesitation, takes it, crawls away from the pack, is tackled by two Bombers, and will get a ball up at right half forward for the Eagles.
Liam Ryan injured. Might have just rolled the ankle a touch. He's just hobbling and running back. Doesn't look too serious. Tan will keep us up to date for Bob Jane T-Marts as we throw it up. Bell Chambers and Nat Nui. The ruckman really got hands to it. Nat Nui came off with it though and then slapped it on the boot and kicked it out of bounds on the full. And then his hair was pulled. And it's on, down on the boundary. The umpire's got it all under control. Nat Nui, I think, might get a free kick. So Merritt grabbed hold of his dreadlocks. Nat Nui didn't like it. Now it's been reversed again as Yo came in, I think, and threw Shield to the ground. That'll be an interesting Triple M Bosch Tools replay. Good bit of Bosch, power tools, measuring tools and accessories.
Yeah, well, he didn't like it. Zach Merrick did pull Nat Nui's hair, which got him fired up. Players came in. The umpires reversed the free kick a few times. I'm not sure why they continued to do that, but getting a little bit hot under the collar, both sides.
So Hurley has it and kicks it inside his defensive 50. A bit of anger to start this third term. 36 points as West Coast lead.
Redmond goes short. Zambrose, who comes across the ground, Shield in space. Has a bounce, runs up towards the wing from half back, looks down towards half forward. A high ball, Bell Chambers in best position. Knocked away though by Hearn, roving the pack with Snelling. Good tackle by Hearn. Got him down quickly. Now, McDonald Tippin Woody's got the football. He's been paid advantage for some reason and told then to play on. And he's kicked the goal. Well, I heard a whistle in the midst of all of that. I'm not sure what happened. But McDonald Tippin Woody has kicked the goal. And some of the players seem to stop. It's 11:8.74 to 7:2.44. So the mysteries of football in the last minute or so, there for all to see. Nat Nui had his hair pulled. Lockie, you sounded envious. It's 11:8.74, 7:2.44.
That's cruel.
It was cruel, wasn't it? He got stuck in the earlier.
I used to have hair.
Well, we spoke at half-time the importance of Tippin Woody. Only the 3 touches in the first half. He was the player that really needed to stand up. And to his credit, he's been able to find a way to take that advantage and finish off really strongly. That's a good goal for Essendon, but more importantly, good for his confidence.
Back to 30 points. We're out of the middle. Hickey taking over from Nat Nui. The kick forward will be cut off by Langford. Oh, good little handoff to McKenna. He hands it to Sard. This is brilliant footy. Runs to 50. Launches it towards goal. Oh, dear me. Footy at its best on Thursday night. The Bombers on fire. 8:2.50. They're coming. The West Coast Eagles, 11:8.74. Put that one down on the book. Make sure you send that highlight right round the world because that was AFL football.
And there's another scuffle on at half forward because the Essendon players are getting into Hutchings again, just letting him know that his opponents kicked the second goal. And what a goal it was. McKenna and Sard off half back. You couldn't script it any better. And the game's come to life. There's a bit of fire in it now. The crowd's involved. Essendon are coming. And the atmosphere's lifted and certainly game on now here.
Inside 50s now 5-1 in favour of the Bombers in this term on the Triple M Red Z lending stats.
And the margin is back to 24 points. Nat Nui's off the ground. There's the bounce in the centre. Favours Bell Chambers. Hickey had the run though. He knocks it his way. Down towards half forward. The West Coast Eagles force the ball. It spills out of the pack. Sheeda hurried kick around the corner. Cripps has had a good night. Throws it on the boot wide of the mark. It bounces, I think, just inside the field of play, beside the behind post. And a good result for the West Coast Eagles. They'll get a boundary throw in. A real edge to the game suddenly. Came out of nowhere. A spot fire on the wing. And since then, there's been a few. Tossed in. Bell Chambers reaches over the top, knocks it down. Taken by the youngster Ham. Hurried kick out towards right half back. Sheed's in front. And that's a strong, clever mark. Shielded the drop of the ball with his body. He's 55 metres out. Runs around on his left peg. Just puts it short to the pocket. Waterman comes to him, takes the mark. Much easier kick for the right footer in that pocket. Sheed would have been a difficult kick. And a lot of distance to cover. Waterman, a real chance.
Yeah, that's the difference between the two sides. Essendon had a couple of those opportunities. They just wheeled and kicked it long and high to about 30 out, where West Coast always looked to find that little pass and get a mark inside 50.
The Bombers have made a surge. What can Waterman do here? Could be one of the most important kicks in the game. Can he put down the resistance? Kick is on the way. It looks pretty good. Now it's sliding across the face and goes through for a minor score. Increases the lead. Not what he had in mind. 11.975 plays 8.250 on the Simply Energy scoreboard.
The kick out's a good one. Langford, he's run into trouble. He just gets away from Darling. Then has to hand pass out wide. They'll work it out towards Heppel. And he takes the mark. Heppel will kick it to Merritt in the middle of the ground. Another good short pass to Parrish. Lots of runners on the outside. Hurley makes a real good lead. Out on the wing will gather off the bounce and then kick it high. Disappointing in the end. It'll be nicely set up for Barris, and running into it and bumping him over was McKenna, I think it was. In fact, it was Shuey who was trying to take the mark. And Shuey was knocked over, gets up hobbling, and at left half back he'll get the free kick.
Now, Sean McKernan needed to provide something for Hurley to kick to there. He was running backwards away from goal. He needed to come up and present, give them something to kick to. He's only had the one disposal. That was an opportunity to get involved. He was waiting for the easy one out the back.
9 minutes gone. The voice of Lee Montagna for Triple M Seabus Super special comments. Seabus Super offering members insurance cover that protects building and construction workers. As the short pass is not a good one for West Coast. It could be costly. Here's Snelling. Been really good up forward. His hand pass, a good one to Ham. Wants to run around and get on his left. He does eventually. Kicks it inside 50 though. And Barris continues to read the ball pretty well after an average game against the Hawks in the last one of the home and away season.
Very important stage in the game now. As Barris sends a high one towards the outer side wing. Big pack. A couple of players misjudged it completely. Taken by Hickey, sweeps a hand pass wide to Ryan. He goes down the line. Beautiful kick, finds Waterman. Waterman hard against the boundary line. Chips down towards the 50, getting back brilliantly. Doing terrifically well was Francis to knock it out of bounds, and we'll get a boundary throw in. 11.975, 8.250. So if Essendon get the next goal, and you get the feeling they've got a blank check to run now, the coach is throwing off the shackles. If they get the next goal and drag it under 20, then suddenly this place will be on fire. And so will their supporters listening to our coverage as Shuey takes it away from the boundary throw-in. Kicks it down towards full forward. The Bombers have been terrific. Francis again grabs the football, kicks it out wide. Ham runs to the ball. He's got it up from the back pocket. Goes short, back to Hurley. And Hurley just settles. Now he gives it off. Run comes from behind from McKenna this time. Gives it to McGrath. A real feeling around this ground now of uncertainty. As Essendon start to exert themselves, the ball goes to the outer side. Fantasia on that southern wing, miss kicks. Gaff put in the van. Gets a hand pass away. A little 1-2 worked nicely on the outer side. And now they control the football around the outer side. Yo's got it. Yo runs down towards left half forward. Sees Darling on the lead, and Darling is marked about 52 metres out. Hard against the boundary. Spots a man on the move, Waterman. And Waterman takes the mark. Closer to goal in his last shot, but the angle is about the same. But you would think here he can run around and open up the goal.
Joey mentioned before that McKernan had to hit up at Hurley. We just saw that again. Fantasia on the other side of the ground. He looked for options. He had no one coming at the foot. And that hesitation forced the turnover. And from that turnover, that's the reason why Waterman is having this shot on goal.
So, another chance for the son of a gun. And he comes, doesn't run around, runs in straight and miscues completely. That's a shocking effort. Out of bounds on the full on the near side. So got that completely wrong. No change to the score, 11.975 to 8.250.
The Bombers with it out of defence. They get it back into the hands of Sard. Cripps is trying to run him down. In the end, he got onto his left and kicked it dangerously out towards half-back. Naitanui brought it to ground. Marston was there to gather. He gave it off to Barris. His kick high, inside attacking 50. 4 Bombers there to try and swat it away. It was a good punch. Heppel received it to Francis, to Merritt. Good hand pass over the top from him through the middle of the ground. Goes Shield. Look at his pace as well. So much speed, and then he lets himself down with a poor kick inside 50 to the only man standing there in Schofield. Kicks it out wide to Nelson, to Gaff. Like the attack of Essendon, just need the polish as well. Now with Rioli, spearing pass to the middle of the ground. Yo takes his time, and then a low one to the lead of Waterman. He's been proactive. Too far out to score. Got a man running past him, Gaff. He draws the defender. Gaff from 50. Sends it beautifully in the direction of Darling. He couldn't take the mark. And then runs in and smashes down Merritt. Nat Nui picks it up. His kick smothered. Comes out to Marston from 25. Marston kicks it goal. He's missed to the right-hand side. Another minor score for the Eagles. 11-10, 76. They lead the Bombers 8-2, 50. Aussies 5 for 232. Smith's on 95. And quarter time in the basketball. The Boomers 27, Lithuania 21.
Margin here is 26 points. Steve Smith, another century perhaps. How about that? Still, plenty to go on about here too. It's terrific stuff. Essendon mounting a rearguard action as the ball is kicked out of the defensive 50 by the Bombers. Gathered off hands by Jetta. Bounces around up on his toes. Hand passes to Nelson. Goes short out wide to Marston. Marston down towards right half forward. He goes back and over the boundary line to take this kick. Now he sends it inside the forward 50. Edged under the football down there. An Essendon defender. Forward of the pack, a chance for Sheed. Francis may have got a free kick there. Didn't. And now a hurried kick by Sheed is marked virtually on the behind line down there. And it's been taken by Ambrose. He plays on, runs through the goal square, drives it out towards left half back. McKernan, the taller of the two men contesting. Marston did well to fight a draw, get it on the ground on his turf. McKernan, though, battled back. Loose ball picked up by Jetta. Quick hand pass to Redden, across to Marston, upended quickly. Coming at him was McKenna. Wonderful closing speed. Marston kicks the ball only about 10 metres before it goes out of bounds.
He's just got to do better there, McKernan. He's on Marston, one-on-one contest. He has got the height advantage and the strength. He's just got to take that grab.
The McDonald's Triple M Rocks footy. Nat Nui down through the hands of Shuey. Well done, Shield. Gave it off to Merritt. Torpedo into the middle of the ground. Stringer made a contest. Brought the ball to the turf, but Schofield read it best. Goes by hand to Shuey. Gave it off to Gaff, and then Gaff kicks inside attacking. Empty! McKenna! No Francis. That was a beauty. Used Waterman as a stepladder and took a beauty of a mark. This young man is getting better and better. Look at that for a fly. Got onto his shoulders and now he sends it towards the wing. At the other end, McGovern tried to outdo him. Went to Schofield. Good spin move from Lewis Jetta. Now to Sheed. He'll kick it to the fat side of the ground, running after it. Hickey bends down, can't pick it up. Then goes the layer. Good tackle. And it'll be a ball up on the edge of the centre square, forward half of the ground for the West Coast Eagles. The ruckman for the Eagles did a pretty good job.
How good was Hickey? You play with him, Lee?
Yeah. Good teammate, good bloke, and he's doing a really good job this year, his first year at West Coast.
He's got a big heart, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Out of defence. Hurley gets onto this one, kicks it out towards the logo. Awkward bouncing football. McGovern takes on the footy, then takes on the would-be tackler. Does well, drives it down towards right half forward. Shuey's got it. Goes short inside the forward 50, and Cripps likes his chances. He's taken the mark. Man on the mark is Hurley. Cripps is about 10 metres in from the boundary, 40 metres out from goal. Not an easy kick. Cripps has got a couple. Let's see what he can do. Huge kick in the context of the game. The margin of 26. He can push it over 5 goals now. In he comes. Kick is on the way. He's given away the goals, but it's bending back. I think he may have got it. It was touched close to the line, but not forward of the line. It's a goal. So they've been going end to end. He's got his third goal, end to end stuff in the last 5 minutes or so. And the deadlock broken by the West Coast Eagles. They get that much wanted goal. Waterman had some chances. 12-10-82 now to 8-2-50. The margin is out to 32 points.
Another terrific finish from Jamie Cripps from the pocket, out so almost 50 out on the wrong side for a right footer. Second goal is kicked like that, and that's priceless. In games like these tense finals, when either side can hit the scoreboard, to kick accurately and take the opportunities, it's priceless. And he's had an excellent game, Jamie Cripps.
And on the back of McGovern just leaving his man at half back, he attacked the contest, he won the footy. And from that, he was able to use it well. And yes, Cripps is finishing really strong.
Bounce of the footy back in the middle. Nat Nui. But Bell Chambers won that tap. Down to Shuey, though. shrugged off the tackle, gave it to Nick Nat. His kick is high, very awkward. Inside attacking 50. Stand under if you're brave enough. Well done, Redmond. Gave it to Langford, to Francis. By hand to Merritt, now out wide. Heppel gathers. Wants to look inboard, now forced to get on the left and kick towards the wing. Shepherd's going to get there, running back with the flight of the footy. Then he slipped over, Snelling will gather it. Oh, that brought him down, shoved his head in the ground. Big tackle. And he'll get the free kick.
Got him with one hand, didn't he?
He just dragged him down. The little man didn't know what was coming. And now kicks down the line. Packle form, Darling in front, good fisto from Ambrose, over the line and out of bounds. Can I just go back to the little scuffle, the pull of the hair? Nick Nat, very physical on Shield. Will they look into that?
I think they will, because that was pretty dangerous. He really pushed Zach Merritt hard into the fence. I've got no doubt that'll be looked at. Fingers crossed it's a fine, but certainly that'll come under review.
Boundary throw in. Bill Chambers hooks it down behind the pack. McGrath, quick hands, gave it across towards a teammate in Langford. He kicks inside the forward 50, turns everybody around. They dash back. Schofield picks it up close to the behind post. Hand passes to Barris. Kept his cool, went to Jetta. Jetta spots a man on the outer side. Good kick too. Goes out to Waterman. He's at left half back. Hand passes back to Nelson. Nelson looks to open space. Marston runs hard. Finds the football. The defensive side of left centre wing. And this crowd now at fever pitch as the West Coast Eagles have pulled away again. Can they go on with it this time? That's what the fans are asking. Shepherd short to Nelson as they move it around inside their back half. 82 plays 52. Now Nelson unloads around the outer side wing. Big pack out there. Getting high was Hurley. Tapped it to the ground. Wasn't a real punch taken by Kennedy. Hand passes to Sheed. Goes down the line. Bounces in front of Hutchings and runs away from him and goes out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw in.
Waterman having a big game for the West Coast Eagles. He runs up and down, doesn't he? Great work ethic.
Good pick.
It was. Real good pick.
12 disposals, 7 marks for Waterman tonight, Lock.
And just quickly too, Lockie, Steve Smith has made his 100, so that's his third 100 for the series. He is absolutely dominating and keeping us in it.
Absolutely amazing. So the ball on the far side of the ground, and it's going to be a free kick to West Coast. They'll play on with the advantage. Yo from 60 metres. Long kick towards the goal square. And it'll go through for a minor score. This has been a ripping game. The Eagles, 12-11-83. The Bombers, 8-2-50. It's a 33-point margin now, Den.
Short one comes in. Heppel's got it. Got it from Ham. Heppel goes to Hurley. Is there another H in the team? Goes short towards the pocket if there is cover in. No. The mark has been taken down there by Ambrose. It's a beleaguered defence now. They've been under pressure. Ambrose plays on, kicks a high ball, and Ham does well. Very nimble was Ham. Stepped around Kennedy and took the mark. Promising young player, as I said. A high draft pick. In the reverse, he was up in the 70s, and he was a teammate of young Walsh, the number 1 pick. So some good pedigree has come out of that particular club, the Geelong Falcons. Now it's with McDonald, Tippin Woody, who sends it wide. Finds McGrath, who decides to take them on. Has a bounce, runs down towards the 50. High ball, Stringer's in front. Let it bounce. As a result, hit him on the body. Ricocheted away. Plenty of Eagles back there. And they're prepared to concede a behind. 8-3-51. 12-11-83. West Coast on top by 32 points. And that's on the Simply Energy scoreboard.
Simply Energy powering up the AFL. Hearn with the kick in from fullback. He'll go through the middle of the defensive 50, right onto the chest of Shuey. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back, bigger than ever. Visit maccasplay.com.au for full term. As Jetta has it, he'll go short again. Nelson tempted to play on. Fantasia came to the mark to put the pressure on. Still inside the defensive 50 for the West Coast Eagles, who lead it by 32 points. He comes towards the boundary. Yo leaping high, couldn't hold on to it. McDonald, Tippin Woody dragged to the ground. Snelling tried to keep it in, but couldn't. And still in the Forward half of the ground for the Bombers. We'll throw it back into play. 10 on the boundary. Bob Jane T-Marts.
Yeah, the Bombers look like they're a man down. Mitch Brown has come off. He's got a left calf problem. He's done some run-throughs, but he's just put the jacket on. Looks like he's done for the game.
23 and a half minutes gone in this third quarter. The kick off the ground went to McGrath. He gathers and then just swings around on his right. Bombs it inside, attacking 50. Shepherd and Hearn go together. They should have left it for one or the other. Loose hand pass, though, from Jeddah. Here's Ham. Gathers it under pressure. Goes to Fantasia. Quickly gathers, kicks towards the goal. And it's gone through for a minor score. It was a great gather by Fantasia. He had the pressure coming. So the Eagles 12-11-83. The Bombers are now 8-4-52.
Just under 3 minutes of play remaining in this term. As Hearn goes short and finds Schofield close to the boundary. Schofield, of course, a premiership player last year. Had a vital role in the grand final. First on DeGoey and then on side bottom. He drives it up towards the wing. Darling's in front, just thrown aside there by Hooker, but then Hooker didn't take the mark. Yo grabs it, kicks over the head of Kennedy, onto the chest of Ambrose, who wants to go back. Ambrose kicks it towards the arc of the 50. Taken there by Francis. A little short pass over the head of Shield. Shield goes back for it. Did well, used his body, found the football. Hand passes to McGrath. McGrath kicks down towards Hooker. Schofield arrives late, can't punch it away. Hooker plays on from a prone position almost. Gave a hand pass to Merritt, and Merritt goes inside the forward 50. Tells his teammate down there, Stringer, to stop and have a shot at goal.
Well, this is big. Essendon are throwing the kitchen sink at the West Coast Eagles in this third quarter. We've seen Tippin Woody stand up and kick a goal earlier. This distance won't be beyond him. He's a wonderful kick. This is a big moment coming up for Jake Stringer and the Bombers.
A minute 50 before three-quarter time. As Stringer comes in, runs to the 50. Kick is offline. It's out to the right, still in play. Off hands now. Barris gets up and just deflects it across the line harmlessly. Essendon 8-5, the Eagles 12-11, and the margin is 5 goals.
That's further what Emma said. Inside 50 is much closer this term with 14-11 in favour of West Coast on the Triple M Red Z Lending stats.
Red Z Lending, loan specialist for the self-employed. Mark Committee looking after those. The beast. As Hearn is also a beast, and he comes from full back with the big kick. The pressure came from McDonald, Tippin Woody. Hooker couldn't take the mark. Redden ran into trouble but got the hand pass away to Ryan. Got men running for him. Hutchings feeds it over towards Cripps. Cripps now can kick inside attacking 50. Oh, measured it superbly. Waterman's going to gather. Waterman's going to stroll in and bang it through. Coast to coast footy from West Coast. And a 13th goal to the home team. 13-11-89, the Bombers 8-5-53 for McDonald's Triple M Rocks Footy.
And again, Jack Redden, he's done some really important things tonight. Just again, attack on the footy. He set himself for tonight, and just small moments in the game become real crucial ones. And we see the Eagles, they get out the back really quickly, and we know Oscar Allen has missed out on tonight's selection. They've gone with Waterman instead, and he's done his job, Waterman. He's got a couple of goals.
13-11, 89, 8-5-53. It's been a tough third term. As we mentioned, some spot fires breaking out, initially with Nat Nui down near the boundary, having his hair pulled, and that was enough to start a fracas. He's up, winning the tap this time. Back on the ground just moments ago. Ball comes behind the pack and Gaff, but his kick isn't good. It was on his unpreferred right leg. Went straight to Heppel, who's tried his heart out. Little short pass from Merritt. Not his best game tonight, Merritt, so far. Kicked it to Shepherd. It comes out to Gaff, who started well, but how many for Gaff now?
Gaff for the game. He's got 7 this quarter, 18 now for the game on the Triple M Red Z Lending stats.
So from the Gaff we know, 30's not out of the question. He's got it again as I speak. It comes back from Hearn.
Clearly heard you.
Yeah, well, he's close to us. Just down in front of our broadcast position, Gaff. What a player he is. What a hard runner he is. He kicks the ball beyond the wing. Oh, Darling almost a one-hander. Slung there, and being held without the football was McKenna, who then proceeds to punch Redden. Now, Redden, I think, may have played it up, and that may have cost him a free kick. Short one from McKenna, terrible, to Gaff. Gaff, a hand pass across to Shuey to Darling. High hand pass comes in the direction of Yeo. He cleverly slapped it across to Shuey. Goes short to Redden. He's played well. That's a beautifully judged kick. And Kennedy calls out Ryan and takes the mark 55 metres from goal.
Long way from goal. Time ticking away. In fact, there is the siren. And Kennedy told now that he'll have to kick from about 60 metres. It'll test the old man. He's got 4 to his name. Kennedy will kick it long. It's coming back, but it won't make the distance, or will it? It'll go through. And the umpires confer there'll be no score there from Josh Kennedy. The Eagles leading the way, one step closer to the next round in the finals. They're 13-11-89. The Bombers with some work to do. 8-5-53. It was a big third term, plenty to talk about. For McDonald's, Triple M Rocks footy. 36 points is West Coast led with 1 quarter to play in the elimination final. The Eagles 13-11-89, Essendon 8-5-53. Just felt like when Saad was on the run and kicked that goal from 50, it got to within 25. We were starting to get a little excited that it was going to be game on, but West Coast settled nicely.
Yeah, game heated up certainly in that quarter. It was a few scuffles. Both sides got fired up, and Essendon showed what they were capable of, and they tried to do it as much as they could in that quarter, but what let them down, and playing that style where you are aggressive off half-back and you take risks and you counter-attack, it looks good, but it's getting them to a point where they then don't have a forward structure, and that's what's letting them down. They're breaking the lines off half-back, but it's that forward structure and that last kick going forward that's let them down because they're out of position. Where West Coast, with a bit more of a deliberate approach, always have forwards ahead of the ball to kick to when they do get a fast break. So that's just been a bit of the tale of the two teams. Essendon have tried their style, and they've had a crack. I think their effort's been really good in this game. It's just a bit of a class difference, particularly that kick forward of centre.
Danaher would be handy. A bloke called Danaher would be pretty handy. But anyway, we'll see whether he's around next year. I want to go back to the Nick Naitanui because I think that's going to be the talking point of the next 24 to 48 hours as to whether the match review panel or officer now looks into it. So we set the scene. Naitanui had his hair tugged by Shield. He turned around and he pretty much grabbed him and threw him into the fence. Unduly rough play.
It was unnecessary from Nick. He didn't need to do it. I think what's on Nick's side is the fact that nothing happened to Merritt. Now, if Merritt had been concussed from that particular incident, I reckon he was in big strife, definitely getting a week. I think on the back of what we saw, the fact that Merritt got up and continued to play the third quarter, maybe looking at a fine.
We might go to Tan very quickly. Tan on the boundary before this game gets underway.
Yeah, just confirming no reports from that, but it'll definitely be looked at. Last time they met, McGovern got a week for shoving Guelphy into a chair back in round 14.
Final term of the first elimination final. Umpire tosses the ball high. Bell Chambers goes after it. A scruffy kick, only went about 10 metres from Bell Chambers. Chopped off by Shuey, who's had a fine game. He gets it back from Gaff and chips it out towards the wing, and the mark is taken by Hutchings. Runner alongside, thinks about it, doesn't give it. Umpire calls play on. West Coast up by 36 points. Poor kick from Hutchings, bounced in front of Shuey. He was only 15 metres away, so now a little triangulation of hand passes. Works between Hutchings and Shepherd. Shepherd the high ball, Ryan. The big leap from behind, couldn't take the mark. Loose ball at the back of the pack. In goes Cripps, tries to knock it to Yeo. Ricochets across towards Darling. Gets a hand pass to Rioli. Not normally caught, but he was grabbed by 2 of them that time. He was the meat in the sandwich, and will get a ball up about 25 metres out, directly in front as the West Coast Eagles go forward.
You were right, Embers. It was Merritt who he threw into the fence. The tap down to Shield. Over the top by hands was McGrath to Hurley. He had a fumble and it's rolled over the line, so still a chance for West Coast in their forward 50.
Luke Shuey up to 29 disposals now. He's had the 8 clearances. He's a very big game player, and he's had a beauty when he's game 200.
We'll throw the ball back into play. 36 points West Coast lead over the Bombers. The tap, Naitanui to Stringer though. He gathers it, hand passes out to a bit of open space. Nelson onto it, brought to ground by McDonald, Tip and Woody. And we'll have another ball up. They're edging their way down the ground. The Bombers now at right half back.
Jackson Nelson done a really good job on Tip and Woody tonight. Schofield back into the side, spent time on hooker, and Stringer has been another unsung hero for the Eagles.
Here's a quick kick from McDonald, Tip and Woody. A little slow to try and get there was Hooker up against Schofield, stolen out of his hands by Gaff, and he'll get on the left and kick it up towards half forward. Well done, Hutchings. Kept Sard out of the action. and forced it to the boundary line. Still West Coast by 36 points for McDonald's. Triple M Rocks Footy, the Monopoly game at Macca's is back bigger than ever. Visit maccasplay.com.au for full terms.
89 plays 53. Boundary throw in, left half forward. Nat Nui works in front. Bill Chambers steps around him, slaps it down, taken by McGrath. His hand pass back inside the defensive 50 for the Bombers. And they battle right on the arc of the 50, right on the line. And the umpire decides to ball it up. So, a long way for Essendon to go now. Gave some cheek in the third quarter. Halfway through it, there was some sort of hope, but then fell away again towards the end. Nelson battling with McDonald, Tip and Woody towards the boundary after a hurried kick came out of the congestion. And the umpire will ball it up again. Essendon still defending.
Just the 6 disposals for McDonald, Tip and Woody tonight on the Triple M Red Z Lenny stats. He's been quiet.
They needed more. Nat Nui goes up, swings it down. Speak of the devil, there he is. Nat Nui, or rather McDonald, Tip and Woody, but that's a very dangerous kick. Oh, wow. White back towards centre half back for Essendon has been marked by Kennedy directly in front and about 45 metres out.
Well, there's a difference between taking risks going through the corridor and just being plain reckless. And Tip and Woody to try and wheel on his left boot and kick it 50 metres into the corridor in the back half, that's just kamikaze and probably going to cost them a goal.
So in comes Kennedy. This could be an early sealer. Kick is on the way. That is a massive kick. Massive kick just to the left-hand side. Just missed it. Just tapered off at the end. But Kennedy finding some form tonight, and that's an ominous sign for the other clubs in the finals. 13-12-90 plays 8-5-53.
Hurley under pressure, kicks out from the back pocket, marked by Yo. West Coast in control of this game. They led it by 37 points. Yo plays on. Oh, spins around on McDonald, Tip and Woody. Then a wobbler inside attacking 50. Darling couldn't pick it up. Kicked off the ground. Gathered by Hearn. Goes by hand to Marston. Now to Barris. He reloads. Kicks it deep. Darling standing there. Oh, he just out-bustled his opponent. Then kicked into Ryan. Gathered by Sard. Has a bounce. Hand pass is good to Stringer. Stringer tight to the boundary line. 50 out from his defensive goal. Kicks it along the line. McKernan pushed off the footy. McGovern carries it over the line. We'll have a throw in right in front of the dugouts. It's 13-12-90 West Coast. The Bombers 8-5-53. That's on the Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard. Expertly designed bathroom packages. You can change to suit you from $3,000. Choose Beaumont's.
Boundary throw in. Hickey works in front, taps it down, taken by Yo. He's immediately tackled. Ball fell to the ground. Shields stood up in a tackle, got a hand pass to McGrath. Hand passes to Stringer, who's been a non-factor, and he bounces a kick out of bounds. Just moments ago, Ryan should have got a free kick in the goal square at the attacking end for the West Coast Eagles. He was blocked by Francis, and the umpire should have seen it. They were out clear of the pack. Ryan had a lot to say, hopefully not too much. Boundary throw in. Bill Chambers outmanoeuvred this time. Knocked down by Hickey. Socket off the ground though by Langford towards centre half back. Marston too clever by half. McGrath came on strongly. Laverty did well, spins out of the pack, hand passes to Stringer, runs into one dead end, beats a second would-be tackler, but the kick is wayward, goes right across the face of goal to the opposite pocket. Going back is Schofield, and he's quite content just to corral the ball over the boundary line. We've got a throw-in.
Early inside 50s in this fourth term, already 5-1 in favour of West Coast on the Triple M Red Z Lending stats.
Red Z Lending, loan specialist for the self-employed. Andrew Embley, Lee Montagna here. Looking after the expert comments, the throw in. Hooker had a fumble in the ruck contest, then just barged his way through, and he couldn't get rid of the footy. It was a good attempt. Hearn, though, pulled him down. And at full back, he'll take the free kick, the West Coast skipper. With 37 points, the Eagles lead. We've gone 6 minutes in the final term. He sends it out wide. It's a high one. No one took the mark. McKenna slapped it forward, but cut off by Redden to Gaff. Little 1-2 with Marston, and he brings it to this broadcast side with a good kick. Schofield now getting a touch and sends it up towards the top of the 50. Hutchings on the end of it, gives away a hand pass. Cripps under pressure. Goal, but hasn't. Could have given it off to Ryan, could have sent it to the goal square, decided to go himself and sprayed the kick. A minor score for the West Coast Eagles. 13-13 plays 8-5. It's the Eagles by 38 now.
Full credit to Adam Saad then too. He didn't stop trying, he didn't stop running. And just perhaps the knowledge that he was there affected the kick. Short one comes from Heppel. He's been terrific tonight. Started brilliantly. He's gone short to Langford. But too few have had to do too much as far as the Bombers are concerned. Langford from half back drives it up towards the wing. Hearn's strength and evidence there, battling with Hooker, got a fist to it, but Hooker butted up again, punched the ball along the ground as it turned out, got it across to Fantasia, who gave it to Merritt, kicks inside the forward 50, leading back in the race is Stringer, tracks it towards the boundary line, he's gone very deep, and that was very ambitious. He threw it on the boot, and he may have been virtually straddling the boundary line, and on his left peg he's put it directly out of bounds. Crowd loved that. And as I said earlier, he hasn't had the night that he would have wished. 91 plays 53, and Jeddah's got the ball in the back pocket.
Told to move it on now. He'll send it to the far side once again. Ruckman will fly. No one can take the mark. Ball comes to ground to Gaff, continuing to rack up the disposals. Oh, Hickey. That was courage at its best, and he's gone down looking a little sore. West Coast, though, continue to move the ball forward. Here's Cripps getting out of trouble from McKenna. Slapped it on the boot in the direction of Hutchings. He can't trap it. Under pressure and thrown out of the way was a West Coast Eagle. Here's Heppel. Will get on his left and kick it to the centre square. Another dangerous one as Shepherd comes in, brings the ball to ground, puts his head over the footy. Marston, loose little hand pass to Gaff, has to go back and try and get it, does the Eagles midfielder, gives it over to Yeo, and Yeo kicks inside 50. Darling flying, had a couple of goes at it. Paddle forward was good. Waterman to Cripps. Cripps' hand pass was swatted away. Ryan now goes back towards Cripps. Now it's with Sheed. They'll have another crack at it, and he'll hit the post. That sums up that play best. A little awkward, clumsy. 13-14. 92 is the score for the West Coast Eagles. 8-5-53 for the Bombers.
Buzz around the crowd as Hurley prepares to bring it in. I think looking forward now, most of these supporters. As Hurley drives it outside the defensive 50. McGovern was high, couldn't take the mark. Behind the pack, a chance there for Shield. Picked up by Hickey. He's been strong too. He's been great support for Nat Nui. Hurried kick down towards half forward by Gaff. Off hands. Advantage is paid. There's going to be a free kick to the West Coast Eagles, and Sheed puts it through for a goal. I think it was Kennedy's free kick to have, but the umpire spotted Sheed away with the football in full flight. Let him go. And the Eagles get their 14th. They're 14-14, 98. And Essendon are 8-5-53.
Well, they've been peppering away for the first 10 minutes of this last quarter. They really could have kicked 3 or 4 goals. They've had so many players and opportunities inside 50. They made the most of it that time. But this team just looks so well balanced right now as the Eagles chant goes around the ground. And is this about the time when you start booking your flights to Melbourne, Lockie?
Yeah,
for a West Coast support,
so.
they're jumping online on their phones, just looking at the flights, because probably an MCG game next Friday night, it would look like, against the loser of Geelong and Collingwood. So, yeah, a lot of excited Eagles fans will be looking to come down Melbourne next weekend.
And Nick Nui, is he done now? Do you rest him up?
I think they probably need to play another 5 minutes or so just to take the heat off a few of the other players. But I think with maybe 7 or 8 minutes to go, that's when they'll ice him up.
Kick forward is off the ground and marked by Cripps. Gives it to Ryan. Storms inside 50. Has a bounce. No one can catch him. Here go the Eagles. They're coming your way, Melbourne. And they're keen to put on another show in September. Continue to play some great footy. 15-14, 104. The Bombers stuck on 8-5-53. 10.5 minutes gone. Still some more footy to play here in the West.
Well, they've thrown everything, the Bombers, at the West Coast Eagles, but just in this last quarter, you can just see the floodgates are starting to open. And again, just that supply battle. 9 inside 50s to 2. In this last quarter, the game has really opened up and West Coast are finishing strongly.
And I reckon this is where the West Coast Eagles players want to put on a show for the last 20 minutes. Last time they'll play here for the year. Last time they'll play in front of their fans, so they'll want to finish with a bit of a bang.
They lead by 51 points then. Nat Nui perhaps for his last few minutes on the ground. There's the bounce over the head of Bell Chambers. Charging through is Nat Nui. A lot of hair in that contest. McDonald, Tippenwoody and Nat Nui. It's picked up by Shuey. He kicks it down towards full forward. Awkward bouncing football. Redmond goes back. Cripps into an open goal and the show is on. The resistance has buckled. Essendon heads down. Hands on hips. 4 goals to that man. Cripps has had a wonderful night. And the West Coast Eagles are through to play the loser of the Geelong-Collingwood game. And on tonight's form, they can't be taken lightly, although no more games at home, as we just heard. So it's an uphill climb, but not impossible.
The impact that Nick Naitanui has had for the West Coast Eagles tonight cannot be underestimated. He really just changes everything in there, and he's fresh. He's only playing about 55% of the game time, but just a clearance to himself, and just so clever not to be able to grab that ball, but just tap it to a teammate. Luke Shuey being huge tonight. The big guns for the Eagles are really standing up.
We'll come to you in a moment, Tan, as Nat Nui climbs high again. Shuey couldn't gather it. McKernan there. Great little hand pass to release Langford, who kicks inside attacking 50. It's a little wide. Ball goes in the direction of Hooker, who's dragged down and thrown over the boundary. Now, Tan will come down to you for Bob Jones Team Arts.
Yeah, looks like a few Eagles have put the cue back in the rack. Willie Rioli on the bench. He doesn't look like he wants to come back on alongside JK and Hearn. They've got no intentions of coming back on the ground, those three.
Oh, JK and Hearn have probably got the right to stay on the bench. I'm not sure Willie Rioli gets the right to sit there for the last 15 minutes.
Downed by Barris. He kicks out towards the wing. Hickey underneath it. No, the big man enjoying his first final. Takes a good mark. Town, of course, for Bob Jones Team Arts has a month of big deals on big brands such as Bridgestone, Hankook and BF Goodrich. And Hickey will kick down the line. At the back is Francis. He'll take it off the pack, give it off towards Merritt, who kicks into the middle of the ground. They've done that a few too many times. And Redden was there to take the mark, drag down. You get the mark and the free kick. Inside the centre square. The leads are on. Darling's the main man. He plays on Redden from 60 metres to the goal square. Ryan's there, but he's got 2 to beat. Ball fisted down. Ham paddles towards the boundary. It was deliberate, but it was good play. He was under pressure, and we'll throw it in 45 metres around. West Coast by 57 points. 15 minutes gone in this final term.
Zach Merritt, who I rate a very good player, has had a disappointing night tonight. 20 possessions, but not many of them. Of course, the Eagles, too many problems. Boundary throw in. Nat Nui was in front. Spills across from a teammate there towards McKernan, who kicks it towards the outer side where it bounces out of bounds. That teammate was young Ham. Good experience for him, seeing out this game.
22 hit-outs now for Nat Nui in about 58 minutes and counting on the Triple M Red Z Ledney stats.
Yes. It's a big statement, isn't it? And changes the complexion of the finals now to a certain extent. But, of course, on the road for the rest of them, the West Coast Eagles, if they are to succeed. Hand pass comes to Nat Nui. Goes with his left mitt. Goes out wide. Found Gaff. Hand passes across to Shuey. What a game he's played. Long ball. Hickey gives a contest. That's what's required down there. But, unfortunately, no players around the pack to help him out. So Hickey butters up again and finishes up at the base of a pack and wins the ball up for the West Coast Eagles in what is a very dangerous spot.
Ball thrown up. Hickey out of the ruck contest. Had his kick smothered. Heppel will track it and gather. Goes by hand to McGrath. And he'll come to this broadcast side with a kick. And out in front, take a good mark. Langford, he'll take the mark and play on. Marston, who's his opponent, he was beaten and slapped the ground in frustration. Short pass is good to Fantasia on the wing. Just holds up play and kicks to the edge of the centre square, defensive side of the grounds. Now decides to go back inside defensive 50. Awesome. Selling a little bit of candy was Francis. Gathers and kicks to the middle. Merritt leading for him. Fumbled the mark though. Now he's under pressure. Gets it away to Redmond. Redmond pounces and then kicks inside 50. Laverde can't take the mark. Shuey's there to clean up for the Eagles. Had a big game. To Sheed, to Nelson, ran into all sorts of trouble. Redmond laid a beauty of a tackle. Now it comes towards Lewis Jetta. His kicking has been sublime. To Nat Nui.
Hurt too, Nelson. He's, I reckon, been concussed in that tackle on the outer side.
So now it comes out towards Rioli. We'll keep you up to date. Tan will be all over it. And Rioli will kick in the direction of Ryan, who's out bustled. Ball comes out towards the back. Shield to Heppel. Things have really slowed down now. 57 points West Coast lead. Here's Stringer through the middle of the ground. That is a beautiful kick from Stringer.
Oh.
Great defence though from Jenner. He just got there in time to tap the ball down the ground. Laverde will stand up and deliver the kick inside 50. McGovern's there. Then he had to lay the tackle after it came off his hands into the hands of Snelling, and will ball it up. Nelson still in trouble, far side of the ground. That's not great news for him.
At this stage of the game, that was wonderful defence.
Well, that's what makes premiership teams, Dennis. Even when the game's won, they still do the little things. A spoil there. He got a little touch in before to force Stringer to kick it out on the full. They're the things that great teams do.
They're still fanatical, the West Coast Eagles, again after that ball up. Slapped wide now, a chance for Shuey, and he's going to get a free kick. Well, they weathered a minor storm there, not a game-changing one, but they really met in combative fashion Essendon, who are trying to force something there and had the chance to do so. They dug in the West Coast Eagles and they control the ball across half-back as Redden comes out to Gaff. Bounces one around the corner to Sheed. Sheed can go very short to Shepherd, who's just come onto the ground. And tonight very much mirrors the season of Essendon. It's more about moments than anything big. Ball goes down towards half forward, taken by Gaff, slips a hand pass away. Sheed runs to the 50, looks inside the 50. That's a brilliant kick. Oh, it missed by about half a metre. That was on the half volley, I reckon. The umpires look at each other there. Not sure whether it bounced in front of him or not. The replay will be interesting, but I think it was a half volley to Rioli.
Triple M Bosch Tools replay. Good, better Bosch. Professional power tools, measuring tools and accessories. Felt a little short.
Did it? Oh, okay. Well done. I didn't see it. Yeah. You're amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Away comes Shield, gives a hand pass to McGrath.
McGrath has a bounce and then kicks it along the line towards the broadcast side. Shepherd's had a terrific game. Forces it to the boundary against Langford and will throw it in right below us.
He's really had a terrific season, hasn't he, Embers? He was another one that was probably, I thought, pretty stiff not to be in the All-Australian team. He's had an unbelievable year.
For mine, Joey, leading West Coast best and fairest. He's been absolutely brilliant this year as the crowd attendance has just come on the scoreboard, Lockie.
Yeah, 59,216. That's a big, big crowd. Get a measurement as to whether that's the biggest footy crowd we've had here. Of course, we've had the rugby union and the rugby league as the ball spread to the far side of the ground. Fantasia on the end of it. Just holds it up. Shepherd is also on the far side of the ground. He's working his butt off late in this game. We've gone 19 and a half minutes and it's the Eagles by 57 points. The long kick wasn't marked, but a free kick will go McKernan's way. Forward half of the ground for the Bombers. Been a tough evening as he kicks inside attacking 50. Barris out with the big fist. It'll bounce in front of Stringer. He'll pick it up one-handed. He's still outside 50. Not sure where to go. Decides to chip it to the top of the 50 to Heppel. Under pressure. Gives it to Parrish. Parrish on the left will kick it towards the goal square. And Hearn makes sure it goes over the line for a minor score. 16-14, 110 the Eagles. The Bombers 8-6-54.
And maybe, just maybe, focus will move to John Worsfold now after this loss. 12 seasons in charge of the West Coast Eagles, of course. Well known to footy fans here. Hero as a player, hero as a coach, but times change. Little short pass around the boundary out of the back pocket there from McGovern. Finds Gaff.
Nick Nat's off then. That was the cheer, so that could be it for him. 20 minutes gone.
Yeah, that'll do him. Wrap him up for the night.
And that sends a message that echoes around the competition. Big performance tonight. Oh, and Yo cops one. A man running back with the flight of the ball appeared to make contact with Yo as he tried to spoil. That's Redman. And Yo gets up and the umpire saw nothing wrong with that. So it's a long way from us. Yo's got the ball, told to play on now. Shakes it off and kicks a high one down towards Hickey again. Hickey got a hand in there, knocked it away from Francis. Getting in behind the pack is McGrath. McGrath a hand pass to Heppel. Heppel hasn't given up battling. Back to McGrath, who kicks it up towards the wing. And the mark has been taken out there by Snelling. Gets a hand pass off. Now it's Shield. Shield gets a hand pass away to Redman. Tucks the ball under an arm. Tries to go. Gives a hand pass off. Now, was that a fend-off? I think it may have been a high fend-off. And now we've got a bit of a battle between two players out there. I think one is Sard. if I'm not mistaken. Saad is getting the worst of it at the moment. It's more a tag team now. You better take this, Beast.
I reckon the umpires paid a reversal again, I think, against Elliot Yeo after all that.
It was a late tackle from Yeo on the far side of the ground on Redmond. Here it is here on the Triple M Bosch Tools replay. And he dragged him down after he got rid of the footy. And then, yeah, as you said, Dent, Saad was involved after he was dragged down. So it'll come back to the Bombers. And Redmond will take it and kick it inside, attacking 50. McGovern chasing out after it. Man in front was Shepherd. He couldn't trap it. McDonald tipping Woody. Oh, from the angle, superb. Great finish. That was quality. Might not have had a lot of the footy this evening, but that was special. 9-6-60. That's the Bombers score. The Eagles 16-14, 110, 10 on the boundary.
Yeah, a bit of spite in this one. Word is filtering through that there may be a report. I'm trying to find details. So we saw that Nick Nat incident throwing Merritt into the fence, and we saw a bit of a gut punch, McKenna on Redden as well. So I'm trying to get some more details, but word coming through from the AFL that there may be a report from this match. Jackson Nelson off with concussion, bit of a head clash with Redmond. Good news is that he ran off the ground though.
Well, that's interesting Tanya says that, because I think the new ARC can make a match report maybe during the game. So they've obviously reviewed the footage, and maybe instead of waiting till after the game or tomorrow to actually make the report, they might have done that during the game with the new ARC system that's in place for the final. So we'll have to keep on top of that one.
So Nick Nat had his dreadlocks pulled, and then he threw Merritt to the ground afterwards, Dent. So it'll be a very interesting 24 hours.
Yep, getting a little spiteful too, particularly between Redmond and Yeo. Yeo's got another free kick, and he drives it long down towards half forward. Darling gets away from the pack. He was being held, I think, before he took off. And he's going to get a free kick, Jack Darling. He tried to go initially and was held by the arm and then broke that, but the umpire spotted that contact initially.
So there has been a report. The AFL match review officer, Michael Christian, reviews third-term vision in the ARC during the third quarter. Nick Naitanui and Zach Merritt have both been reported by the umpire.
So Zach Merritt was reported for pulling hair.
Yep.
So another big week coming up for you, Lockie. There goes the kick from Darling. He kicks the goal. It's just icing on the cake now. All they need from here is, well, a victory, of course. That's in the bank. And also just stay free of injuries. And they've kicked away. This is an insurmountable lead, clearly. It was at three-quarter time. 17-14 to 9-6, 116 to 60. So a comprehensive victory for the West Coast Eagles.
So what's Zach Merritt going to be looking at for does he get sent to his room? Or what's the...
I think he's got nothing to worry about. But I'll tell you what, the big talking point for the next few days will be Nick Naitanui. That's bigger than the result of this game.
That just means a busy couple of days.
I think the technical term for that is a choke slam. He's clearly been watching some WWE and The Undertaker on tapes.
Yeah,
because he had that choke slam straight into the...
Beautiful beast. How many weeks does he deserve?
None.
All right.
Yeah,
fair blow.
It wasn't real.
Excuse me?
Nothing, sorry.
Kick off the ground. Parrish will gather. Out wide he goes with the hand pass to Heppel. They're still defensive side of the ground. Kick back into the centre square. Redmond slips over as he tried to hand pass. Now told to play on. We'll kick it out wide to Francis. And Francis will just chip it over the top. Merritt will get there first, as we said, reported. Gets away another hand pass, and the Bombers continue to charge forward. The kick inside 50. Slipping over was Shepherd and also his opponent. Gathering it is McGovern, deep in his defensive half. Will kick to the top of the 50, and Redden takes the mark and spreads it out wide.
Sheegan's got it now. He's at right half back. Under 4 minutes remaining in the game. He centres the ball to Shepherd. And Joey was right. I think Embers may have said it, and I think Joey agreed, so technically he was right. But I think it was Embers who said it, about the fact that he was very unfortunate, Shepherd, not to make the All-Australian team. I mean, he leads the competition for marks coming into tonight, and he's not noted for that, really. It's his run-off half-back that people note more particularly. There's a short one from Marston, gives it to Cripps. One wonders what he could have done more. There goes the kick. He's cramped up as Cripps as he sends a high ball down towards half forward, and that reluctant bench might have to come into action here. Cripps looks towards the bench. There's no movement, and he's limping.
They waved him away.
Parrish has got the football meantime. Goes short to Heppel. Merritt, not his best night tonight. Hand passes to Bell Chambers. Bell Chambers, almost stationary, sends a high lob inside the forward 50, and that's good for his confidence. Barris comes, meets the ball and takes a good mark.
He's had a good game, back into a little bit of form, chips it out wide to Shepherd, who's been a star. He spreads it in the direction of Marston. Got another man out on the wing standing near the boundary line in Ryan, but he decides to slow it down. So it's West Coast by 56 points, 27 minutes gone, a little over 2 minutes remaining in this final. Essendon season over, the Eagles to head to Melbourne. And if they're to go back-to-back, they're going to win 3 times over in the east. As Schofield chips it over the top to Lewis Jetta. And then Jetta will go short again to Marston. And Marston kicks into the middle of the ground to Redden. They're just going to maintain possession now. We've had Embers and Joe Montagna here for Seabus Super, offering members insurance cover that protects building and construction workers. And now maybe some action on the far side of the ground. A good little hand pass over the top to Hutchings in the forward half of the ground, and Hutchings lets himself down. He pretty much kicks it over the line and out of bounds. It just bounced before the boundary line, so we'll throw it in 70 metres around.
Some Triple M Red Z Lennox stats on Shepherd. 19 disposals, 11 marks for him tonight, so he's been big like you guys have been saying.
Boundary throw another side. Hickey is there with Bell Chambers. Bell Chambers wins the tap. Sheed gets the football. Hand passes to Shuey. Shuey kicks inside the forward 50. Ambrose takes a good mark running back. How many possessions now for Shuey?
34 and counting.
He's kicked it out towards the half-back flank as Ambrose. It's taken there by Redmond. Goes short back towards centre half-back and Parrish. Parrish off his step, sends it to Heppel. How about Heppel?
Oh, you're really quizzing me there. 30 and counting.
Well, there's not much for me to say. He goes down towards half forward. On the move down there. Stringer, his last quarter. He's had more possessions in the last quarter than he had in the first 3, I'd venture.
Don't ask Beast that question, though.
I was thinking about it, but I knew he wouldn't have it.
What are you trying
I was
to say?
helping you out, Beast.
Come on, hey, just pass him a note then, Locke.
Don't upset him now. It's too late now. So it's a free kick down there to Essendon. It's going to McDonald, Tip and Woody. He's directly in front, about 35 metres out. Shepherd standing the mark is annoyed. Didn't want to give away a goal at this late stage. Get them into double figures, actually. 17-14 to 9-6. So the margin 56 points. McDonald, Tip and Woody, a very quiet night early. Has got a few possessions late in the game, but has had a real disappointing final. And he comes. Had a great season, though. Steps inside the 50. Kick is on the way, and that sums up his night, really. He's lucky to sneak it in for a behind. He really hooked the heck out of that one. So 9-7 to 17-14, and we have 3 seconds to play, and that's it for me, Lockie. Bring him home.
So the Eagles will kick out from fullback, and they continue to march on, looking for back-to-back premierships, but they've got a lot of work to do. And they'll have to do it away from home. Big winners over the Bombers, 17-14, 116. Essendon 9-7, 61.
To show you why we're the big birds, kings of the big game. We're the Eagles, we're flying high. We're the Eagles, the West Coast Eagles, and we're here to show you why. We're the big birds, kings of the big game. We're the Eagles.
The scarves are being waved right round Optus Stadium. 59,000 in attendance, predominantly West Coast Eagle fans, happy with a 55-point win. And they go next week to Melbourne to take on either Geelong or Collingwood. A big final score for the Eagles, and a man who starred throughout was Josh Kennedy. We might head down in a moment to catch up with him, courtesy of 7. Nick Natanui getting through the game, which is good news for the West Coast Eagles. The Bombers, their frustrating season comes to an end. They were hot, then they were cold, and in the end they got bundled out by the Eagles. 55 points is the final margin. Josh Kennedy kicking 4 goals too. Jamie Cripps with 4 goals as well, and a couple of twos for the Bombers. McDonald, Tippenwoody with 2. Sard with 2 brilliant goals. And Snelling, terrific to see him get a final. He also kicked 2 goals. We're waiting for Josh Kennedy and also Luke Shuey. The fans are happy.
Tom Bell-Chambers seems like a good bloke. He's gone up to all the West Coast Eagles. Big hug.
Well, let's go down now, courtesy of 7.
Shuey, fantastic game. Complete performance tonight.
It was, yeah, we were good. They come at us at different times. I thought the resilience of the group to hold off every time they came was good, and solid game. Move on to next week.
The midfield was exceptional, but the forward line pressure was probably what stood out from the sidelines. It must have been good watching Josh and his little mates get to work.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be. They're a really dangerous back line if you give the footy over, so big fella was on song and our little boys got to work. It was nice.
Absolutely. Now, JK, 200 games for Luke. How good's his career been for the footy club?
He's been pretty good. He's won me a couple of Colemans, so yeah, he's been pretty good.
Now, the rumours went around Perth during the week that you'd done your ACL and you might have been done for the year. Was there anything behind your knee injury or anything?
No, I got the little shin knock the other day at training. There must have been a reporter there, and somehow Chinese Whispers in Melbourne got that I did my ACL. So mates were ringing me saying, you know, all the very best with your retirement and everything like that. So it was a bit odd, but yeah, nothing. I'm all good.
So head to Melbourne next week. Doesn't hold any great fears the MCG anymore, does it?
No, mate. Look, it's going to be another big test for us, and you know, finals are always hard. So we got through the first one, and yeah, got to get through next week. So looking forward next there.
Now, Luke, you got a big weekend. I believe you've got your son's first birthday party, which is a fancy dress. So a bit of a quieter weekend for you.
It'll be a quiet one, mate. A few coffees on Saturday morning at the little fella's first birthday, and I haven't got my outfit yet, so I've got my work cut out for me tomorrow.
Good on you, mate. Congratulations on 200 and all the best next week. Thanks, Joshy.
Luke Shuey played a starring role, 34 possessions in his 200th game. Let's go to Nick Nat now.
Spoken about more than the one you've had. How is the ankle and the syndesmosis? Everything feeling okay?
Yeah, feeling good, mate. Yeah, just good to be back out here.
How much fun was it when the forwards are getting to work, but your ruck work, working with Luke Shuey, Elliot Yeo, Andrew Gaff? It must be exciting and fun.
Yeah, it was good fun to actually be out in the field and not be stuck up in the box for a while. So, yeah, just enjoying the feeling. Still haven't taken the mouth guard off. It's just good feeling to be back.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Now, instead of bouncers, how do you work out who gets to get on the end of your work? I know Shuey comes to you quickly, Elliot Yeo comes to you quickly. Who do you choose to hit it to?
All the guys are the most popular throughout the week, so normally Boots. Shuey's the number one there, but they all fight over it, but they all get their little lick of the ice cream.
Now, is that the first time you've had your hair pulled?
Yeah, it was. I was a bit angry. I don't know, I probably got a fine for throwing the bloke, but yeah, he pulled my hair, wasn't happy with it, but well, part of it.
Big ruckman piggy on a midfielder, nothing different. Congratulations, mate. Footy's a great game when you're out there. Well done.
Good little interview from Xavier Ellis, and good on him for asking the question. I got a little nervous late in the interview, thinking, you're going to throw one in, Den. But look, I think that sums it up, doesn't it? I mean, It didn't look good, the throw to the ground, but surely it's just a fine.
I think so, because we've known all year, and probably for the last few years, it comes down to the result. And if a player, even if it was accidental or they didn't intend to, if a player gets hurt, we've always been told that you'll end up getting punished because of that. Zach Merritt wasn't hurt. He got to his feet straight away and played on. And I like the little subtle comment from Nick Nat. It'll be a fine. He's just trying to persuade the judge a little bit that, all right, I'll cop my fine. Just let's move on. Let me play next week.
He's already just signing.
Yes, isn't he?
Just signing the check now. Just saying, what is it?
That's right. I've got plenty. I earn plenty. I'm happy to sign a couple of thousand. Just get me to Melbourne.
So that will be the story over the next 24 hours, but his return was quite scintillating.
Well, it was. And we spoke pre-game just the importance what Nick Natanui brings to the side. West Coast are a different midfield group, and you saw that tonight. You saw the fact that Shuey was on the fly. Had a brilliant game, Luke Shuey. 34 touches. He had 8 clearances. He was certainly the number one inside there. But Elliot Yeo and Andrew Gaff. And the thing is, Essendon are on the back foot from the start. So, again, Bell-Chambers worked really hard to at least nullify Nick Natanui. But when you've got a guy that jumps as high as he does and gets his hands on the football, you just have to defend, and the Bombers work really hard in there to defend, to at least nullify the quality of clearances that West Coast got. But in the end, it was just dominance from Nick Natanui, and the Eagles mids got on top, and that's what allowed them to certainly dominate the supply battle.
And I know he only played 60 minutes tonight, but I don't necessarily think he needs to play much more for the rest of the finals. I think he's a high-impact, low-minutes player, because you see Nick Nat, when he sort of labours, he loses that influence, but when he comes on and just goes hard for 6 or 7 37 minutes, he has a huge impact. So I wouldn't be surprised if they continue with that. Maybe it gets up towards 75, 80 minutes, but I'd just continue to play him on and off with Tom Hickey, and I think that's how they'll utilise him the best.
So does it send any fears to the rest of the competition, the ones remaining in the finals now that he's got himself through one game and had such an impact?
Yeah, absolutely it does. It has to. I mean, he's such a presence, and now the opposition, if it's, say, a Collingwood and Brodie Grundy, the Pies have been used to getting dominance. All of a sudden, they're going to have to start to combat Nick Naitanui, particularly in the centre bounces. So certainly it's going to make it more wary for the opposition midfielders to work out how they're going to play their footy.
The Bombers, it was just an unbelievable season, wasn't it? The highs and the lows of footy. They were superb at one stage, and then they had some absolute shockers.
Well, they did, and that game against the Western Bulldogs was one of those shockers that you spoke about. In saying that, they followed up the week after they came to Perth and knocked off the Fremantle Dockers. It was such an interesting year for the Bombers, such high hopes at the start of the season. They didn't get their season off to a great start. They played some good football at times, and even tonight we saw the way that they took the game on, and they're going to get better and better at that. They just need to continue to believe. No doubt, though, they fell down inside their forward 50, and if Danaher can get himself fit inside that forward 50, just gives them an option, because tonight when they went in there, unfortunately for them, and with the way that West Coast set up behind the football, it was McGovern, it was Barris and Shepherd that they were able to win the footy back. And then we saw on transition the ball used from Lewis Jetta, the ball used from Shannon Hearn, and it was really they were able to get the ball out of the defensive 50 very quickly and go down the other end and score.
It's hard just to know where Essendon are at as a club, even going forward next year. We know they've been banged up by injuries, and to be fair, and I'd spoken to some people at Essendon today, they were banged up going to this game. Hurley was playing really sore, Hooker still was lame, and Fantasia and Stringer have been carrying some significant injuries. So they were lame. They tried their very best to get out there and play, but you could see they were hampered. Just not sure where they are as a club. Are they a team that, you know, has that little bit of talent that they can play some terrific football, but they're inconsistent? They've got a big summer ahead, and I presume it's not the end of it. If there's going to be talk about John Worsfold, whether he continues on or not, whether he does or doesn't, they've still got a big summer ahead of them to see if they can elevate themselves to be a real finals contender next year.
So, Dan, that's the questions. Is a 55-point loss in a final. They haven't won one in, 15 years? Does it spell the end for John Worsfold, or is there more to it than that?
Well, there's a lot of expectation, I think, at a big club like Essendon. I think they've probably overjudged or thought their list was better than it is. But having said that, that doesn't mean it will save the coach injuries or people misjudging the list. I mean, he's got a job, I think, in front of him to keep his job. I just think the appetite, Essendon has been always an unforgiving club, a bit like Richmond, and I think that Worsfold is not a given to coach next season.
Luke Shuey getting shouldered off the grounds, carried off, chaired off on the shoulders of Nick Naitanui and also Josh Kennedy. Big game for him, 34 disposals. And I think they used your term. Is that your term, lick of the ice cream?
Well, that's right, Lockie.
Yeah.
You do the hard work and you tackle and you chase, you eventually get the lick of the ice cream. That's exactly what the West Coast Eagles boys did tonight. They worked hard, and then on the end of it, guys like Waterman and guys like Cripps, they bob up and get their little lick.
As in, do they share the same ice cream? Is that what they all lick the same ice cream? Well, I don't know if I'd want that.
I'm not sure, but if they are doing that, they're obviously doing something right at the moment, the West Coast Eagles. I'll find that question out for you there.
They're a strange club, the West Coast Eagles, Lee. You would know that. Very, very strange. They're heading down into the rooms, and they're a very happy bunch of boys. The Bombers have already departed. They're in their rooms and consoling themselves after a disappointing finish to their season, but they made the finals. Tan, you are in the rooms, and the Eagles are down there now.
Yeah, I'm in the rooms. They're pretty subdued at the moment. A few quiet hugs, a bit of ice getting poured all over Luke Shuey, who's going to be in the middle of the circle for his 200th game. I asked to speak to Nick Nat and got told no one is talking to Nick Nat because, I guess, because he's on report. But hopefully we'll catch up with Andrew Gaff, who, of course, is driving the hunger of trying to go back-to-back because he missed last year. Here they go with the song. Yep, they're keeping a lid on it, aren't they? That was a very low-key song. I guess they're thinking we've got 3 wins to go and then we'll really sing it. So, yeah, pretty subdued at the moment, but pretty happy with themselves too.
And you're getting Andrew Gaff, is that right, Tam?
I am getting Andrew Gaff. Thought someone who's desperate for a flag, let's have a chat to them. It looks like they're going into a meeting. They have some line meetings with their coaches and then they'll come straight back out.
All right, Tam, we'll come back down to you. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back and bigger than ever. Visit maccasplay.com.au for full terms. Boys, before we get more thoughts from you, today's I'm Loving It moment happened at the 22-minute mark of the first quarter. Here's how we called it on Triple M Footy.
Taken by Jetta, corralled the ball easily, goes back to the corridor. Taken now by Shuey, punishing kick inside the forward 50. Waterman was up, couldn't take the mark. Rioli cruises onto the football and bounces it through. Oh, look out, Essendon. Alarm bells are sounding. That was all a bit too easy.
Took him to the 22nd minute mark of the first quarter to call it.
Yeah,
he was onto it.
He was just all over it. Sort of a little...
Talking about Ryan.
No, you.
Oh, that's better.
That's what happens every week, Joey. Just every week he has the Macca's moment.
I was going to ask that. I was going to ask, has Dennis not had the Macca's moment?
Every week he gets it.
Well, as a matter of fact, just by coincidence, I've got the score. It's Reed 12, Committee 11.
And we haven't got another game to go. You guilty.
I knew I shouldn't have kept score.
All right, what are your thoughts onwards now? We look ahead. Of course, we've talked about the Bombers and maybe there's something happening at the top of the tree, but the West Coast Eagles, they look to now face either Geelong or Collingwood at the MCG. Can they not only win that game, but can they win 3 away from and take the flag?
Well, I think West Coast just need to break it down. There's no doubt the week off really freshened the Eagles up. They look really good tonight. They'll go to the MCG. We know they've got a good record over there, and whether it's Geelong or Collingwood, the Eagles will back themselves in. They just got to go and obviously take that game on, prepare really well for it. We expect that it will be a Friday night game next week, so an 8-day break for the West Coast Eagles will definitely suit them. Listen, there's more A-graders in that side, in my opinion, than any other team in the competition. Their best is really good. It's just going to be how far they can go and what petrol is left in the tank towards the preliminary final week and grand final week, if they are able to get there, Lee.
Of course, West Coast lost to both teams earlier this year. Geelong was a really ordinary performance down there at GMHBA early in the season, but West Coast was still just finding their feet early. And then, of course, Collingwood, when they played over here, where they just dropped off in that halfway through the third quarter onwards. But, yeah, West Coast look a different team. They look back to their best from what I saw. And, you know, they're a team that there's a lot of talk about they're not a big contested ball team, but they don't need to be because they're so efficient with ball in hand. They hit targets. They've got quality forward of centre, and that's their big weapon. And I think if conditions stay dry and they're able to win enough football, and now they are going to get that opportunity with Nick Nat in the side, they're going to be awfully hard to beat. They're so well balanced. Their defence is rock solid. Their mids are all in form, and we know about the quality of the forward line. So if they've got the hunger and that determination, they'll go a long way.
And you spoke about the contested possessions for West Coast, and this year we spoke to Jamie Graham before the game. They were ranked 17th in the competition for contested possessions. In the last 2 years, when the West Coast have won the contested possession count, leading into this game, they were 19-0. They won that tonight by sort of 15 or so. They're 20-0. It's such a crucial area for them to be able to hunt, to be able to win that football, to be strong in the contest, and no doubt Nick Naitanui really gave them an advantage in that area tonight.
I think they can get to the grand final, provided they avoid Richmond along the way. I still think Richmond are the side that troubles West Coast the most. We saw that a couple of weeks ago. They had a lot of trouble with the way Richmond set up behind the ball. Now, whether they can change that, and whether Nat Nui in the centre square changes that because he's winning the tap and suddenly it's in quick, that might be something that turns the game their way. But at the moment, on the back of that game, I think Richmond are the bogey side as far as the West Coast Eagles are concerned. That's not to say if things fall their way, they can't make the grand final.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that I'm pretty confident West Coast can go to Melbourne and beat either Geelong or Collingwood next week. I would be tipping West Coast to do that. Then it's again, do they play Richmond in a preliminary final at the MCG? It gets more difficult. If they went to Brisbane, you'd give them a chance and think they could beat a younger Brisbane side in a big game. So there's still plenty of football to play out, but really like the way West Coast are going about it. And I'm sure a few of them will get together tomorrow night and they'll sit and they'll watch Collingwood Geelong closely and find out who their opponent's going to be.
The fresher bodies after a week's break, but the travel then becomes all the more important, isn't it? I mean, I'm looking further ahead, but over a 3-week period going to a grand final, that's a tough ask on a team.
Has anyone ever done that? Has a West Coast or a Fremantle side travelled 3 consecutive weeks to try and win something?
No, they haven't. I think the most any team from WA have travelled has been a couple times in a row, and it's so much unknown. We just don't know. I know, obviously, playing here at West Coast for 15 years, it really does take its toll, hopping on a plane every second week. And, I saw that with West Coast against Hawthorn. They really did look flat. They freshened up. They were a lot better tonight. I expect them to be 100% next week, but then potentially if they get through that game the week after that, and then grand final, if the Eagles are to get there, you just don't know what's left in the tank.
Going to be really interesting over the next couple of weeks. And the Bombers, of course, not put aside the coach. Let's talk about the players. What do they need to get back and have another crack at finals, but also win a final?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, what they need. They still need a fair bit to me, to be honest. I mean, I thought that Dyson Heppel was, excellent tonight. He was their best player, clearly. For a guy that's going to need some surgery on his foot, probably in the next week or so, I thought he was enormous. They've got that speed. They're a side that have got that speed and power. You look at McGrath and Shield, Merritt, Sard. We saw it tonight. McKenna, they're explosive. When they get it going, they look good, but they just probably don't have that play with a consistent style of football that can hold up week in, week out. And, their forwards are probably, are the epitome of that, really, with Stringer, Fantasia, Tip and Woody. We see it. Their best is awesome, but their worst is so far off. You can't afford to have those big fluctuations in your form if you want to be a really good football side. You've got to be more consistent than that, and I think there's too many Essendon players that don't have that consistency week in, week out in their performance.
And tonight for mine, to beat the West Coast Eagles, you need big key forwards inside your forward 50 to compete, and they just didn't have that target tonight. And with McGovern and Barris, we know how good they are at taking intercept marks, and they just didn't have to be accountable tonight because there was no key forward for Essendon that was presenting and taking marks and at least asking the question of the West Coast Eagles defenders. And the Eagles got the game on their terms and they set really well behind the football. Again, we spoke about Will Schofield. How he hasn't been in that side the last couple of weeks is beyond me. He came in tonight, again, played a really important role, unsung, shut his opponent down. He spent time on Stringer, did really well, spent time on Hooker, just gets the job done. But then that allows McGovern and Barris to do what they did. They looked a lot better tonight in their back half, the West Coast Eagles.
So to answer your question, Joey, 1990 was, the West Coast Eagles had to travel 3 times. They beat Melbourne, then they drew with Collingwood, and then they lost by 10 goals to Collingwood. Yep. So, it's a tough ask.
Did you do it back-to-back? Did you ever do 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah, so in 2006 when West Coast won the flag, we went to Adelaide and then came back to Perth and then went to the MCG.
Yep.
Adelaide.
That's okay. You can do that. It's just that third trip, I think, is going to be the big question.
And all the emotion, if it is a grand final. We're getting way ahead of yourselves, but the emotion of the parade and all that sort of stuff to prepare yourself for a big game.
I think it'd be a good problem to have for any side, to be honest with you.
I'm sure they'd embrace it. What are your thoughts over the weekend, Joey? How's the finals going to unfold from here?
It's still some terrific games. I still think Geelong, like we spoke about earlier, are the favourites to beat Collingwood. I just think their system and their brand this year is held up for the majority of the season, and I think you need to have that going into finals. Collingwood are a team that haven't played their best football for much of the year at all. They're going to probably rely on a bit of star power. I think that they've got X factors. De Goey could kick 4 goals and create something. Stevenson, Brodie Grundy could tear one apart. But they're probably going to rely on some brilliance where Geelong in a final, you want to have a team that's played with a strong system and brand all year. They've got the star powers, but I don't think they rely on them as much anymore. They can play a much better brand of footy, so I think Geelong will win. I really like the GWS Giants. I've just got a gut feel they could be the little sleeper. I think the bye has come at a great time for them. Their team on paper looks awesome again. And I know the Western Bulldogs are the hottest team coming into the finals, but that bye might have just taken a little bit of that momentum out of the Western Bulldogs. So I'm going to tip the Giants, and then the Brisbane-Richmond game will be an absolute beauty. I'm going there again for Triple M, so I'll fly to Brisbane and we'll do specials with that game. I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be an absolute beauty. You've got to go towards Richmond. You've got to think the experience and the belief and a team that's been there, done that, could win. But wouldn't surprise me if Brisbane take it right up to them, because we've seen in previous years, with other teams that have got nothing to lose and are full of belief and confidence, you can win the game. So 3 terrific games still to come.
You didn't get invited to go to another game?
No, I didn't. It's just the big guns, I think. I think Emerson's done for 2019, ladies and gentlemen.
Why have you got your party hat on already?
No, we're still prepared to travel?
No, West Coast are still in. So if they do make it to a preliminary final, I will make sure that I'll be there, whether it's in Melbourne or whether that's in Brisbane. So if you and Giles is listening, give me a call, mate. I need the cash.
All right, Beast, time for you to take it over and get your chance to maybe go to Melbourne for a grand final.
Yeah,
Triple M Reds